My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey and I are going to break down the entire UFC 295 fight card, giving you our picks, predictions, bets, and DraftKings fantasy plays. But before I do, follow our socials and join the Discord. Our Discord is 100% free, and we have almost 4,000 people in there discussing fight. Well, actually all sports, but discussing fights, making picks, sharing bets, sharing insight, saying horrific things because it is still the internet, even though it's supposed to be a friendly betting place. But join the Discord. That is absolutely, without question, free. There is a link in the description of this video, or if you go to our website, just bang, huge button that says join the free Discord. Follow the other socials. Those are also free. Cost you absolutely nothing to show that little bit of a support. But what's not free is premium membership. It's $10 a month. It's basically free. That is 33 cents a day. So it's basically free. And that's going to get you everything you could have ever wanted to prepare yourself for each and every fight week. Yes, of course, you're going to get our picks and our bets, our round line leans, our confidence plays, all of that. But even if you take what we're doing with our money out of the equation, you're going to get tools and information that will help you make your own picks. You get the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every single fighter on every single card. This week, when I did my quick pick video on Sunday, we had 0 fighters that flipped from dog to favorite. Now we have 2. Tom Aspinall officially, actually no, he was already the favorite. I don't know. We'll see it when we do the breakdown. But 2 fighters went from an underdog to a favorite. John Castaneda is one. I'm forgetting who the other one is. You're also going to get detailed data, metrics, and analytics. 38 columns of information. Where I find this most valuable is when you're looking at the props. What is somebody's takedown defense versus their takedown accuracy?
You said you said 33 cents a day?
Yeah, it depends on the month. But yes, 33 cents a day.
Because my math is, I got $204 a day.
What?
So it's 10 divided.
What's the opposite of Goodwill Hunting?
So you
simple Jake sitting.
It's 10 divided by 30. So you have 3 and 1 is 2, and then 0, 0,
Why
0,
is it 10 divided by 30? What's the 10?
The $10.
What's the 30?
Days, and then it's the 3. You do the 3 and the 1, and that's the 4. So 3 minus 1 is 2, and then but it doesn't seem right because that's more than $10.
In this version of Goodwill Hunting, you're not even smart enough to be cleaning the floors, let alone doing the math equation on the wall. 33 cents a day, 38 columns of detailed data, metrics, and analytics. You're also going to get a DraftKings optimizer. If you play DraftKings Fantasy, it will build 150 lineups for you. A couple of clicks of the button, it will build you lineups. Go check out our DraftKings videos. We have almost $400,000 in winnings, and a lot of that has come from the optimizer. You're going to hear, optimizer. That exists. Other people have optimizers as well. A, nobody's charging $10. We are. B, the data inside of the optimizer is what makes it so useful. It's just a fancy calculator, and if it starts off with trash data, you're going to get trash lineups. Ours has literally the best ownership projections in the game. And you might say, why are you charging $10 when much larger companies like Awesemo and Rotor Grinders and even smaller creators in this space are charging $30 or charging $20 for their Patreon? We're charging $10 because we are in the volume business. We have almost 3,000 premium members. And if we were at the $30, $40 price point, we wouldn't be there. $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. You're going to get everything you have ever wanted, including other analysts. Me and Handsome Jake over here. You're also going to get...
You're still going.
Oh, yeah. You're also going to get...
this is going to take... You know what's funny about this?
I'm almost done.
Is, I know what's funny is that this pitch is just going to keep getting longer and longer because we just keep adding more people, Angela. Who do we add?
The MMA Minute. This guy has 30,000 followers on TikTok, and that's not an accident. There's no feet picks or anything like that involved. He's got 30,000 on TikTok because he's got great picks, great insight, great bets, all the things, and that has helped him grow that audience.
What in the world is going on?
Tiffany just got home from work, so the dogs are acting like they've never seen her before. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. You're going to get everything I've mentioned, our bets, our picks, our insight, our round line leans. For me, Jacob, Artem, the pick doctor. The pick doctor went 8-1 last week, by the way.
Oh!
The MMA Minute.
Wait, I thought there was
Running
11
mouth MMA.
fights. I thought there was 12 fights.
There was a draw. There was a canceled fight before it kicked off. There were 2 fights kissed at the weigh-ins. Absolute disaster. I hope that doesn't happen here. What a disaster that is.
No, New York City.
Dude, imagine paying, especially these pay-per-view numbers are astronomical. Imagine paying, not the tickets for UFC 295. John Jones is off. You bought your tickets 2 months ago. You paid thousands of dollars.
Dude, those
John
tickets
Jones
were
is out.
insane. To get in the building was like $1,000 a ticket
for the
when
trash,
it was supposed to be John Jones. Yeah. Just to
and
get
MSG
in
is
the
a
building.
great arena, but they take advantage. Shut up! We're some Indiana high school. Shut up, nerd.
Oh, Spike Lee and Allen Houston and John Starks and Patrick Ewing and Anthony Johnson.
You pay for you pay for the name.
Fuck the Knicks. That's what I gotta say.
There goes the monetization of this video. Thank you for that. That's why we need premium members. But no, you're paying the Madison Square Garden premium. That's all that is. It's MSG. It's supposed to be not supposed to be. It is a historic arena. It's the only arena in this country where you can just say 3 letters and everybody knows exactly what it is. So
AT&T.
Nobody calls it that. They call it Cowboy Stadium.
Well, you just knew what it was, so there you go.
Because I live here. Point. And honestly, I've had...
Hey, how about them Rangers, huh? We did it, Angelo.
We did it.
We won the World Series, baby. Are you excited about it?
Oh, I've never been a bigger
my team. I love that
Texas
team.
Rangers fan than just now.
My favorite player is that the best one. I like
the good-looking dark guy that hit all those home runs when it mattered. Him.
Actually, you know what? I do have a connection to the Rangers because they're led by Bruce Bochy, and he led my favorite team, the San Francisco Giants, to 3 World Series. 3 World Series in 5 years. Dynasty. SF Giants. Do I have I don't think I have any proof.
You don't have a Giants thing there.
That is my
team.
Do
not. Anyway, any final words before we go ahead and break down this card?
No, but just looking at this wall, I did notice, I don't know if you know, I actually went to UFC 285.
Okay, we're moving on.
And,
I thought you were going to some Amanda Hebos bullshit. So
I was, but then you said we're moving on, so I respect that. I respect you, Angelo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. First up at UFC 295, we have local Long Island boy Dennis Buzukja taking on Jamall.
Is it really
Emmers.
Buzukja?
Yeah. It literally is Buzukja. It's not spelled that way, but it is.
Name. Yeah, it's a hell of a name.
And he fights kind of like a savage, honestly. He's 11-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a short notice UFC debut. It was a loss, but again, that was short notice. He's taking on Jamall Emmers, 19-7 overall. He is only 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses, but this is actually an interesting fight. These odds to me, I think they're a little wide. And maybe I'm about to give Dennis Buzukja a little more credit than he deserves, but this guy's a come-forward wrestler. He does have some solid striking. It's not great, but it is solid. And he's got guts. He's got decent technique, good power, and aggressive takedowns. He basically is Matt Frevola, but he's a little more athletic, and his striking doesn't have that Matt Frevola power, but he does have, a little bit better technique, if you will. They're all coming out of that same Longo gym. Almost every single fighter in this card is coming out of that gym. He is coming off a loss in a UFC debut where he came out hot. He threw big, but he did slow down. He did struggle to get the takedowns. Hold on. Getting over cold. I'm getting over cold.
Bless you. Hey.
That was a cough.
Hey.
I haven't sneezed since 1996. That was a cough.
Hey. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
I'm ordained, so that's powerful.
It means something. He's coming off that loss in his short notice UFC debut. He couldn't get his takedowns going, and it wasn't because they were poor technique. It wasn't because they were shot from too far out. It was because his opponent, Sean Woodson, was literally too damn tall. And his legs were like this far apart, and Dennis just could not wrap.
Dude, he was on a single leg, standing all the way up, like what do I do now? I can't even get any leverage on. He's like already standing all the way up. His crotch is right in his face. It's crazy.
No, he literally was just too tall for Dennis to finish some of those takedowns.
That's what you're going to run into February.
Yeah, February 9th. Jacob and I are actually fighting on stream. You guys are going to see that.
That same thing.
You're 5 inches shorter than me.
Oh, my God, he's too tall. He's way too tall.
You are 5 inches shorter than me. At least.
In what fucking world? Not the one I'm living in.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I agree with that statement. He's taking on Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers, very good striker, but he's actually a wrestler in discipline, in background. He only has a 50% takedown accuracy, but his defense is at a solid 100%. He's only 2-4 in the UFC, but the losses are decent, right? He lost to Giga Chikadze. That was a super close fight. He lost to Pat Sabatini, but if you remember, he dropped that dude, almost had him knocked out cold, and then... Okay, we'll get to that. And his most recent loss to Jack Jenkins was one of the worst robberies we've ever seen, and I know you probably don't remember it that way, but the live odds, the third round ended, the fight was over, and the actual live odds that they showed on the screen, you could still bet the fight. They didn't announce the winner yet. Minus 1,700 for Jamall Emmers. If you don't know how odds works, that basically means you would have to bet $1,700 and you would only get $100 in profit. That's how confident they were Jamall Emmers won that fight. And then he didn't. He was robbed. I do think this is a tough fight to call, though. Denis Buzukja is super solid. He showcased some real skills in that UFC debut. Who knows what a full camp is going to look like, right? He might look phenomenal in a full camp. But Jamall Emmers is very good. He seemed to have a little bit of iffy luck, especially with the judges. I think this fight comes entirely down to, can Denis Buzukja get his wrestling going? Can he get the takedowns? Can he keep that pace? I am fighting every urge not to bet on him in an underdog spot, and every day that goes by and he becomes a bigger and bigger underdog, it's getting more and more tempting. I'm still going to lean Jamall Emmers, even though the judges seem to hate his guts, even though he seems to have some tough fights and some tough run-ins. I do think Jamall Emmers is probably the better fighter. I don't think he's as good of a wrestler as Denis, but his takedown defense is very, very good. He's definitely got way more power in the striking, and he's got all the experience in the world. So I'm going to lean Jamall Emmers here, but minus 250 seems outrageous. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily outrageous. And I did, something's wrong with my division tables or something. I got 2 -7,008 as the money you would get back on a $1,700 bet with... Anyway, I don't know what's going on there, but I'll say this.
Send me your Venmo login. I'll manage your money, and then you don't need to worry about all these complicated math equations.
There's nothing in there anymore. It's cleared out, unfortunately.
Well, that Prince.
But I've got great news. I'm getting that fucking refund, baby. They said because I'm such a valued customer.
Okay, nobody knows what you're talking about.
I know,
Jacob bought himself a multiple $1,000 computer
my
for
streaming
live streams.
PC. Everyone knows, especially this stream, my PC literally crashed a half an hour into the stream. We scrambled, we got it back. But the PC I bought for you guys to make the streams as good as I could make them has been
faulty 100% true.
Since day one. Yeah, it was been faulty since day one. I've been sending it back and forth with this seller. The last time my graphics card was one that was out, I sent it to them. They sent me a graphics card that was not the RTX special graphics card. It was just a basic graphics card. So, that's committing fraud. But I'm talking to Amazon. I'm talking to Amazon, and I've been going back and forth. And now all I have to do is send the computer to Amazon. They're going to refund the money because I'm such a valued customer, which I was trying to think. I bet I've spent over $100. It's got to be over $100,000 on Amazon. It's got to be. It's in tens of thousands of dollars over the course of forever.
$20 at a time too. No
Jesus
less.
Christ! I mean, you're right. I am a fucking valued customer. But Jamall Emmers, I think, in my mind, is I think he's one of the most talented guys, maybe in the UFC, definitely in the featherweight division. He's a very, very good fighter, a very good striker. He's got toughness. He's a very good wrestler, and that's the thing that we wish he would have went to with Jack Jenkins. If he would have just wrestled Jack Jenkins, he 30-27's Jack Jenkins. And the reason I bring that up is Jamall Emmers is a guy that you can't really trust. You have no idea what he's going to do in there. Is he going to go in there and just kind of be hesitant in the striking? Is he going to go in, get the wrestling, and implement that game? If he comes in and wants to wrestle Denis, he can definitely control this matchup. Denis is a decent grappler. Jamall Emmers is better. If Jamall Emmers wants to just play a karate style and point fight and whatever, he can probably beat him that way too. But at some point, if he starts backing up and he allows Dennis to pressure, which that is what Dennis' game plan is. He's a pit bull. He's a dog. He wants to get dirty and dirty box and get those dirty takedowns and grind on you. And Jamall Emmers is a guy that probably might just allow that to happen. You just can't trust him. So these odds actually ballooned like minus 300, which I thought was way insane. I think minus 200, minus 250 because of the talent level is probably where it should be. But I'm not putting money on Jamall Emmers. I can't trust that guy, and I can trust this to win one round in my mind, just with his toughness. I don't think he's gonna be put out. I think he wins a round. There's a bet there, Angelo. It's already been placed on my end. Become a premium $10,000. We won't pick that. But yeah, I'm going. I'm actually picking Dennis. So.
Oh, you're straight up picking him.
I think
I thought you were going to do exactly what I did, which is I pick Jamall, but I'm not going to bet on him.
No, I'm going to go all the way because that's what I do in life. I mean, you kind of just pussyfoot around and beat around the bush. And you say a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm going all the way in. I think Dennis can come in and make this a dirty fight. And if it's a dirty fight, MMSG, I think it said MSG. In MSG, I think Dennis can control it enough to get 2 rounds on judges' scorecards.
I'm going to let these odds continue to go crazy, and then maybe I'll do a plus 3.5 because I'm not quite as brave as you when it comes to just betting wild on underdogs. But for all the reasons I mentioned and you mentioned, I think Dennis Buzukja is a solid underdog. DraftKings, $6,800. Like, let's put it this way. Do we see Jamall Emmers finishing Dennis? No.
No. I mean, you nailed it when you said he showed off his toughness last fight. I mean, he showed off. I mean, Sean Woodson was kind of all over him, not only in just the striking, but in the wrestling, the grappling, threatening submissions. This dude, if anything, is tough as shit. And sometimes toughness can just win you fights. And sometimes Jamall can just be a little bit hesitant. Especially
because, unfortunately, the judges don't seem to like Jamall. I mean, to lose that last fight was good. They absolutely... They took that from him.
It was closer than the live odds say. I watched that back a few times. I think that Jamall won, but it was. I mean, those were some close rounds in there.
No. I actually agree. It was closer than the live odds, but the fact that those were the live odds means that's how confident Las Vegas was, and they got it wrong. So Jacob and I are split on this pick, but had the exact same breakdown, and it's always interesting when that happens. I don't have a bet on Dennis Buzukja yet. Is the plus 3.5 out yet? I wonder what that is. I might place that with the stream. I just said so. Oh, I thought you. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm probably going to copy
100, but I think it was plus 110 earlier.
Well, maybe I'll do that while we're streaming because, frankly, I think that's a decent bet. All we need him to do with the plus 3.5 bet is to win one single round. That's it. Doesn't need to win the fight. Just win one round on all the judges' scorecards. So. If you're a premium member, you saw Jacob do it. If you're not, you're like me. You're finding out after the fact, and you're not going to get as good of odds, and you maybe never would have known at all. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. Jacob, reboot your computer or something.
I can't. I'm talking to Amazon.
I thought you just said they were going to give you a refund.
Yeah, well, they're sending the email, but I haven't seen the email come through, and I want to make sure that I get the email before I get off with them. Otherwise, I'm going to have this same conversation over with somebody.
Okay. Well, when I'm doing a breakdown, just...
Maybe I'll just leave the browser.
What?
Maybe I'll just leave the browser.
You just cut out while doing that. That's how annoying this is. Here we go. Oh, and Jacob's gone. Next up. At UFC 295, we have Joshua Van taking on a Kevin Borjas. Joshua Van, 8-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is looking for his second UFC win. He's taking on Kevin Borjas, 9-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is riding a 4-fight win streak into his UFC debut. If you say, where the hell's Jacob? I don't need to see Angelo again. He's just rebooting his computer. His audio was cutting out. He has spent the last 2 hours arguing with Amazon on a refund for like a $2,300 computer that didn't work. Anyway, this is another interesting fight, and maybe I'm not as confident as a lot of these people. He's back. Let's see if it's any better. I'm not as confident as a lot of people in Joshua Van. The line continues to widen. He continues to become a bigger and bigger favorite. I get it. He is talented. He's only 22 years old, and he doesn't fight like a 22-year-old, if that makes sense. We just watched Denise Gomes fight like her age, make terrible decision after terrible decision. Joshua Van does seem to be a little more composed than that. He is walking into his second UFC fight. He had a win in his short notice UFC debut against Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Style-wise, he's a good striker, good aggression, decent amount of power. Takedowns and scrambles are pretty solid as well. He's this new generation of fighter, so I'm going to say he's primarily a striker, but he's pretty good everywhere. He does a nice job looking for things in scrambles if he makes that happen, and then he's going to make his opponents work. I mentioned he's coming off that win over Zhalgas Zhumagulov on short notice where he showcased his striking, his chin, and his cardio. That was a short notice fight, and that dude had plenty of cardio. He's taking on Kevin Borjas. This guy's a clean striker. He works in combinations. Kevin Borjas.
I think it's Borjas.
Well, this guy will do everything. He will throw straight rights. He will throw strikes to your leg, low kicks, and he'll do it all while plotting forward. He can grapple if he needs to, and more often than not...
Keep it going. I like it.
I'm too good at it because I hear it all the time.
You think that was good, huh?
Redneck wife. Yeah, all right, let me finish.
That was like cartoony.
All right,
you were like over the top.
I'll do the rest of this in my southern accent. You do yours and yours.
All right.
And I have a lot more to overcome. I'm coming from the Northeast. You're coming from...
I'm already locked in.
No, see, that's cartoonish. And you're coming from...
This ain't cartoonish.
All right, shut up.
I'm from southern Indiana. This is how they talk.
Without the teeth, though. You can't make the weird whistle sounds because you have teeth. Fake, but they're there. Anyway.
Imagine how everyone would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like when Bisping finally popped his eye out. Anyway, Kevin, he can grapple if he needs to, but more often than not, he will actually let people stand up and avoid the ground completely. For the most part, he is a striker with very nice combinations and mid-level takedown defense. He's coming off a Contender Series win just last month and making his official UFC debut. And while I do love Kevin striking, Josh showed us how patient he can be and what solid cardio he does have. I think Josh can remain patient, avoid the combinations, and actually work in his own takedowns. And Kevin will be the better striker with Josh being the much better grappler. So Josh is going to go ahead and be my pick here, but I don't know if I'm liking these odds much at minus 225. So we'll see what happens. While ago, what do you think, Jakey boy? The key to that was slowing the pace.
Yeah, and going up about 3 octaves. Like, yes, you talking like this.
Aren't they very effeminate? Isn't that a thing?
Oh, my God. I'm not doing the country. I mean, that was fucking...
All right, just go. Do it normal.
I will say this. Big fan, not only of Joshua Van, but also of Kevin Borjas. I love the way that both of these guys fight. They are both pretty fearless, both young guys, as you can see. I mean, the way that Joshua Van came in and fought as a 21-year-old is absolutely insane, because we've seen a lot of people that come to the UFC young, but they have really like kind of early success. So it's easy to be good when you're up against somebody and you win in the first round and you dominate the fight. For him to show that type of composure for all 3 rounds, think about all the young fighters that we have seen have had success, but then they run into somebody and then they start acting like an idiot, especially somebody that's like almost undefeated, like the Blake Builder. We just saw Denise Gomes last week, and 23 years old, fighting like a 23-year-old. His poise at 21 is something that's really remarkable, and I think he's going to be a player for years to come. I actually think that this has the opportunity to be the fight of the night. I said it in my quick pick videos. I've said it on Twitter. I've said it in Discord. If this is just a striking match, I love that way that Kevin the Borjas. I love the way that Kevin Borjas strikes. In my mind, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he did lost twice in a row. He looks like Adrian Yanez when he boxes. Adrian Yanez is a very clean boxer. The way he's able to work the body as well.
Wait, what? Hold on. What was the what was that?
Huh?
You said, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, twice in a row. What did you say?
I said he fights like Kevin or Adrian Yanez.
No, before that, you said, I know a lot of people are going to make fun of me and say, ugh, but I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't say anything. I was just blah, 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 because people are going to be like, oh, Yanez got knocked out, though, so he sucks.
Oh, okay.
Because I compared him to Borjas.
I got it. Go ahead.
Oh,
that was a genuine question. I didn't
know. That's what's the sad part about it, is you were being serious. It was a pretty easy
No, it was a joke, bro. No, it was just a joke, bro.
But he is clean with his boxing. If this stays and they just stand in front of each other, I think Joshua Van is a little bit better boxer, so he can win that fight, but I think it could be fight of the night. I also believe that Joshua Van is probably going to mix in some takedowns. We saw Kevin in that fight, his last fight, really kind of get exposed. Was it his last fight? I think it was the last fight. Really kind of get exposed with the takedowns, being able to defend the takedowns. I think Joshua Van's going to mix it into the grappling. I think that's why people are so high on him. He can hang in the striking, and he definitely has a grappling advantage as well. So I'm actually pretty high on Joshua Van. I got a few plays on him. I think it's pretty good value. But if they just stand in front of each other, it could be a lot of fun, and Kevin can have some real success.
There's a lot of people on this card that the general world is like positive are going to win. And they keep talking about this is so easy. This is so easy. These odds, what value? This is great. Joshua Van's one of them. Steve Erceg's another one. And I don't necessarily agree with those.
Wider, a lot wider.
Dude, I don't necessarily agree with any of those. I might honestly just put a parlay together and just call it the this is what the public says is going to happen parlay and just see. Because it's like, maybe I'm that wrong. We'll talk about it more when I get to Steve Erceg. Maybe I'm that wrong. Maybe I am. But, like, dude looks like a pizza delivery boy. Anyway.
Who?
$9,200, Steve Erceg. $9,200 for Joshua Van in DraftKings.
Road's
close.
He's really good. Find another way home. Road's closed, pizza boy. Find another way home. Do you know what that is?
No.
Oh, man, that's really bad. I think it says, streets closed, pizza boy. Find another way home.
What is it from? Give me a multiple choice.
Well, I don't know if I
you
can do
think
that
about the multiple choice.
No, it's gonna be pretty obvious no matter what I say just from that line.
No, you could figure it out.
Okay, let me. Okay.
You think about it while I wrap this up. Okay. $9,200.
Don't look at chat though.
I won't. I don't pay attention to those people. $9,200 after they started calling me Humpty Dumpty. $9,200 for Joshua Van. In DraftKings Fantasy, man, you're really going to need a beating and then a finish for him to cover that. I'll have to see how he did against Zhalgas Zhumagulov, but without the 5-point takedowns, without knockdowns, it's going to get hard to really cruise past that number to be worth the money. You know, I do think he wins. Minus 225, it's continuing to widen. I don't know. But like I said, I might throw together one of those, this is what the public says is going to happen type parlays and see. Maybe the public's as smart as we think they are. You're going to have him in your DraftKings fantasy lineup, Jakey boy.
All right, here we go.
No. Just answer the question, and then
I didn't hear what you said.
You're going to have Joshua Van at $9,200 in DraftKings.
I think there's an opportunity for him to find a finish. He really should have finished Zhalgas. I mean, if he would have finished 95, he had Zhalgas fucking rocked. Yeah. 95% of people gets finished right there. I think he can finish Kevin eventually.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. This should be an interesting fight. I agree. If you guys want to check out all of our bets for UFC 295, all of the picks, all of the round line leans, the confidence plays, and so much more, go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 a month. That's 33 cents a day. The monthly fee gets you every single event in that time period. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. All right, Jakey boy, let's hear it. This is the multiple choice. Say the quote again, then give me
the line is, it's like, streets closed, pizza boy. Find another way home.
Okay.
Yeah? It's something like that. Either that road's closed, something like that. All right, here it is. Ready? Talladega Nights. Fast and the Furious. Or Need for Speed.
Well, I know you haven't seen Need for Speed. That was a stupid one to put in there. So it's got to be Fast and Furious because you originally tried to do it in a Vin Diesel voice.
It wasn't Vin Diesel. It was not one of the racers.
Tyrese Gibson?
No, it was not one of the racers. I can't remember.
It might
have just been an extra or something like that. But it's like the very beginning of the movie when all the cars come in, the original Fast and Furious, all the cars come in and block the road because they're getting ready to race, and the road's blocked and a pizza boy comes up and he gets out and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Streets closed, pizza boy. Find another way home." And the pizza boy's like,
"Oh, that's funny."
All the street racers.
I do not remember that. I did watch that in the theaters though, and I remember everybody was obsessed with Toyota Supras for a very long time. We have a $5 super chat from Siggy. He says, "What's your favorite casserole, Angelo?" Listen, I have immigrant parents from Italy. I grew up in the Northeast, so I've got two non-casserole things working for me. There's not an Italian immigrant on this planet that's made a casserole. They call it lasagna. And there aren't casseroles in the Northeast, so I never had a casserole until I met and married my wife, and she made, it was like enchilada casserole or something like that. Phenomenal. So
it was
that
what?
one. maybe enchilada casserole. It was like some Mexican casserole. Yeah.
Enchilada?
It's not it's enchilada.
Uh-oh, here we
Is
go
this
again.
another? Dude, can I just not do these Spanish food words?
Here we go.
Can I just
again.
not do chipotle enchilada? Can I not do these Spanish food words?
Dude, it starts with an E.
Yeah, but so many words start wrong.
Oh my God.
Enchiladas. Can I get 2 enchiladas?
You've been
Can I
get some enchilada? I want some enchiladas from Chipotle. Does Chipotle sell enchiladas?
I'm gonna ask Tiffany how she said.
Oh my God! You've been at Mexican restaurants. Give me 3 of them enchiladas in a margarita.
I've been saying enchiladas. Jesus. It's that wrong?
No bueno.
Jesus. The Chipotle, fine. I thought the L was silent. So fine, I was wrong.
Give me that. You got any of them enchiladas?
Let me
You got any of them enchiladas?
All right, well, whatever.
Give me one of them chimichangas.
I just call it a fried burrito and move on with my day.
Jesus Christ.
All right, well, you know what? I told Tiffany to come in here. I doubt she will, but if she does, we'll see how she pronounces it.
Oh, my God.
Next up, at UFC 295, we have one of only 2 fighters on this card that opened as an underdog and will likely close as a favorite. And that's John Castaneda, opened at plus 120.
Say his
Currently
name.
sitting at John Castaneda. Oh, sexy Mexi. Plus 120, sitting at minus 145. He's 20-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off the summer win over failed lock of the week, Muin Gufarov. He's taken on Kang, 19-9 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off that stoppage win over Christian Quinones. Kang opened as a favorite, minus 140 favorite. And honestly, if that was the line when you saw it, you could look at it and be like, I could see this.
Don't touch it, though. You know what I mean? You could look. Don't touch. Don't touch.
Okay. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He uses range to keep people sort of at distance, and then he's going to close that distance and work in some takedowns. He averages about 2 takedowns per fight, and once he gets you to the ground, he's got really heavy top pressure, solid submissions. Pretty low-volume guy when he's striking, but he does have really nice power. He's coming off that submission win over Christian Quinones, where he did showcase that power before snatching it up. He's taking on John Sexy Mexi Castaneda. This guy is all energy. He's a come-forward fighter, nonstop pressure, pretty well-rounded, incredible pace. He is a former Division II wrestler, and he loves coming forward with fast hands and then shooting takedowns. When he has the opening, he is not desperately shooting takedowns. He doesn't even shoot takedowns sometimes when he should be. But he does have that wrestling background, and if you're going to engage him with the wrestling, then he's going to respond with the wrestling like he did in that last fight against Muin Gufarov. He does not have power, though. What?
Gufarov.
I did not do that. I did.
You
this
said
whole face
Gufarov.
Gufarov.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Tiff,
There's the
come
big
here,
moment.
please.
Just show her a
You're on
picture.
camera.
Just show her a
Just come
picture
here.
of it and say, what is this?
Okay, I'm going to show you a picture.
Don't look
You
at the
pronounce-
typing, though. Don't look at the typing, Tiffany. Don't look at the typing. She's going to see how you type it.
How do you pronounce this word?
Enchiladas.
There you go.
N or an?
Enchiladas.
Enchiladas or enchiladas?
Well, in Spanish.
No, hey, this is American.
E is but that's enchilada.
Well, I've been saying enchiladas this whole time, and you never corrected me.
You're wrong. It's enchilada.
And I've been saying chipotle without the L, and you never corrected me with that. Why does it take Jacob to
Is
fix it?
it enter or anter?
That's not the point.
It's-
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Enter.
Is it? Yeah, that's where.
Okay, you know what? This didn't go the way I thought it was going to, so...
Employee or employee?
Employee.
No, it's enchilada.
Oh, my God. How embarrassing.
Then why don't you do these breakdowns?
Okay, give them to me.
It's just
Fine,
reading the script. Anybody
read the
can
script.
do it.
Yeah, there's the
Anyone
script.
can do it.
There you go.
John Sexy Mexi Castaneda is a really fun come forward fighter. This is dumb. He's very well-rounded and sets an incredible pace. Should I do it like Angelo does it?
Yes, yeah.
He's a former D2 wrestler who loves coming forward with fast hands and then shooting takedowns when he has the opening. He does not have a ton of power, but he makes up for that with forward pressure and a wide variety of strikes.
This is how good my script is.
He is coming off the decision win over Muin
Here's your goofer-off. Here it is. Go ahead.
Gafarov.
Goofer-off.
It's G-A-F, Gafarov, where the volume was, I was a spelling bee champion, where the volume wasn't there, but the wrestling was. He defended 6 takedowns and had 3 of his own.
I beat it. Thank you. Take the dog.
My face literally hurts.
Dude, people say Angelo exposed. I write the script, you morons. It's my script. I write it.
There was never, every time I mentioned that wasn't a joke. By the way, I got fucking nothing. I free ball everything. And it shows at times. It definitely shows at times, but I just fucking think, I have no idea what I'm going to say next.
This is a great comment. Complete role reversal. Angelo, go to the kitchen again. Anyway, the pick is going to be Castaneda. Kang is dangerous.
My cheeks literally hurt. Oh, my God.
Kang is dangerous. He does a really good job managing striking distance, but I think Castaneda is going to get in his face, keep up that pace, working the takedowns. Pretty straightforward win, and if I have the choice between Castaneda at minus 145 and Josh Van at minus 250, I like John Castaneda here a little better. More experience. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've picked against Sexy Mexican. I feel like I have to prove a point that I'm not reading a script now, like I'm looking down. But shit. See this, I forgot what I was even saying, so there you go. I picked against Sexy Mexi as my lock. He is a former lock of the week, and I did pick against him as lock of the week because I saw a situation where he could end up getting wore down in the fight because sometimes he does keep an insane pace, and we saw him get finished when somebody was kind of matching that insane pace in Willie Cat. It was Willie Cat, right? I think it's Willie Cat. Kind of really got in his face. He almost finished Willie Cat, right? And I think that's kind of why Sexy Mexi blew his load in that fight. but he eventually started getting worn down. And I thought Muin was going to be able to do same type of thing, but short notice he wasn't able to do that. Sexy Mexi is a very, very good fighter. He is a good striker. He can take a shot. He showed in that fight that he definitely is a very durable guy. He was just, the body work, he eventually got worn down. He can wrestle. And in this matchup, it is going to come down to the takedowns. Listen, Kang, I think, is a very underrated striker. Doesn't really have a lot of power, but he's a very good, precise striker. Is very dangerous on the ground, but he's one of those guys that is a little bit more jiu-jitsu than he is wrestling. And if you get him down flat on his back, you can control him. And Sexy Mexi is a guy that really can control people when he gets them on the ground. Even when people are scrambling like crazy, like Willie Cat, he is able to kind of float and stay on top. And I like his ability to kind of slow this fight down. If he's having issues with the striking, get a takedown, get this guy flat on his back, and we might even see a Sexy Mexi finish, maybe late second into the third, but I think it's probably going to be a decision fight. John Castaneda doing more than enough with the wrestling to win a decision. So I'm all over Sexy Mexi here, but I do respect King is more dangerous than I think people give him credit for.
He's very dangerous. No, he has very, very real power. This is a funny comment. I don't typically laugh at the comments, but this is a funny one. So that guy told me to go to the kitchen and get Tiffany a drink. Right. And then D goes, if Angelo goes to the kitchen, he's not coming back. That's a good comment. That's a good one. Oh, like, that's actually clever. Dixon's like, oh, is that the nurse who changes his diaper? Not clever. Good. This clever.
So casual, too, with just like an LOL. Like, it's because he's like, D knows too. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. D's been around this channel long enough.
Anyway, I actually have a full unit on Castaneda. I think I got it minus 145, minus 143, something like that. I did it today, literally. I trust him that much. And I think this is set up to be like that. The DraftKings pricing is wider than the actual betting odds. I don't know why he's only a minus 145. I don't know why people trust Steve Erceg at twice these odds than John Castaneda, who's like a proven entity. But, maybe it says more about Kang and people worry about that power. I don't know. You going to spend the $8,800 in DraftKings?
That's a tough one because I respect the toughness of Kang, and he's dangerous on the ground. But sometimes when you're dangerous on the ground, you can work those sweeps. Just leads to more takedowns. I mean, you get up. It's kind of the wash cycle. Castaneda is kind of a guy that will kind of chain wrestle, so it could end up being a good value play, honestly.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've seen John Castaneda just. I mean, he's lost fights. Obviously, he's not undefeated.
And I bet him too. I got him when I saw it minus 135 yesterday. I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. So I actually put some money on him as well. Not for premium, but just for my own.
The guy's going to come forward, shoot over and over and over, bunch of takedowns, bunch of pressure. That's a guy I can trust. And he's got a good chin.
Yeah,
he's got a good
tough.
chin.
Yeah.
So I trust him. I will probably spend the $800 in DraftKings because the dude puts in work. And if he gets the wrestling going, let's look at the stats again real quick.
Wait, go back. Oh, the Korean sexy Mexi. The Korean sexy Mexi. Maybe the mustache threw you off. I don't know.
Whoops.
His fucking
How did I
nickname
mess?
is Sexy Mexi. And you were like, that sounds South Korean to me.
He is American, though. The American flag is correct. They're just swapped. They're just swapped. Oh, well. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. You'll unlock everything you could ever. It's $10. Unlock it. Take a look.
Get me to Brazil,
Work
man.
through the bets.
I
the money
guarantee
goes
if
to
you guys
Jacob,
become a premium member and I get to Brazil, I promise you that the UFC Sao Paulo card, the next time they go, if they go, or any other Brazil card, I will be there and I will fucking make sure that it is the best event you have ever watched in your life. Support the channel, support the dreams, support the UFC, and support yourselves. $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com.
I mean, support the channel should be really the pitch there. But we appreciate you. We've had almost 3,000. Hopefully, if we have a nice...
The first comment is, I don't want to see you get to Brazil.
If there was a few more events this year, the problem is we're starting to wind down here. I'd be confident we would get to 3,000 premium members and 20,000 YouTube subscribers. I don't know if we'll quite get there because we're starting to wind down, but... I'm looking forward to
video that I have
trying.
Planned, this video that I have planned for next week. I'm excited for it.
I thought it was this week.
No, for next week.
Oh, it's not for Ricci. It's for Oh, gotcha.
Right. By the way, Lock of the Week is live, and I'm not going to reveal it on this stream, but it is live, and I worked hard on that video as well.
You were. I watched your Lock. I mean, I did it today. I watched your Lock of the Week video, and then I immediately texted you. How did you film that scene? Because I have to do the same thing, you know. And I was like, I need to have somebody else film
my
this.
filmography was absolutely beautiful because it didn't look like I'm the one, but I'm literally like just sitting here going like, and then the one I'm leaning forward, I'm just like, you know, I'm just acting, I'm the cameraman.
It was
good.
Good.
I mean, I'll see you in Hollywood, man. It's great. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, it is very good. No, I literally. Because I have to film my vlog, and I have a whole thing I have to do, and it's like, I don't know. I need somebody else to film it, and that's just embarrassing to ask somebody to do that, so I don't know what I'm going to do. And while she seems supportive, she's not supportive. Let's move on. Next up, at UFC 295, we have another. Jared Gordon is at that Ray Longo, Matt Serra fight camp, right? So we have another guy. Really? I believe so. Am I wrong?
I've never seen it.
Maybe I'm wrong. Well, we got another New Yorker. We got a local. We got Jared Gordon taking on Mark Madsen. Jared Gordon, 19-6 overall, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that no contest with Bobby Green. He's taking on Mark Madsen. This guy's an Olympian. It's his whole identity. Mark O for Olympian Madsen. And it would be my identity as well if I got that far. He's 12-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off his first professional loss. What are you laughing at? Not his gym?
No, I don't even think that mentally you could even dream that advanced. You know, I mean, that's how far away from that, or you couldn't even dream to be an Olympian. You're so low level.
Jared Gordon is a very good wrestler, not an Olympian. We're at this. We are down here, but he's got solid pressure, good volume striking. Does like to come forward in flurries and then look for a takedown. He's averaging more than 2 takedowns per fight, but he can be out grappled like he was against Grant Dawson and Joe Selecki. He's coming off that no contest to Bobby Green, where he looked good early and was arguably winning that fight. A lot of people were like, he looked good, he was going to win that fight. And then there was that headbutt, and it knocked him out. And it looked like the judges or the referee, judge, whoever it was.
I was very upset. On the live stream, I think we had some wild fucking bets. I think we were about to make
Bobby Green
$1,000
inside the distance.
I think maybe even like first round or something. I'm trying to remember. I just remember being very upset that they switched that to a no.
It looked like they were going to give it to him.
Right,
like they initially were, and then replay. They're like, all right, we can't possibly give it to this guy. And that is where replay is beneficial because, that would be a straight up loss on Jared's record, and that affects everything. So anyway, he's taking on Mark Madsen. Olympic Greco-Roman wrestler. If you don't know the difference between Greco-Roman and folk style,
I got it.
Folk style is wrestling with their... Go ahead.
So folk style, you can do anything.
No, folk is a third style. Folk is a third style.
So obviously American wrestling is, you can do the legs, you can do blah, blah, blah. The folk style, same thing. It's just old folks doing it. The Greco style is just body locks. There's no leg attacks. There's no singles. There's no doubles. It's body locks, and it's almost kind of like judo in my mind, but it's body lock takedowns, Greco. So there's no when you think of a wrestler like Henry Cejudo, it's not that. It's different.
Correct. Without the old folk part. So he was a Greco-Roman Olympic wrestler. So a lot of the upper body stuff, a lot of throws, things like that. That does translate well, but not as well as some of the folk style wrestling. But notables, Randy Couture was a Greco. Matt Lindland, Greco wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Because you didn't start watching until Baby Red showed up and started knocking people out. Then you're like, I love the UFC.
Baby Red.
And I've been watching since the
Neither
beginning.
me or McGregor are gingers.
Anyway, yeah, sure. Anyway, Mark Madsen, high-level wrestler, Olympian. As I mentioned, his takedown accuracy is about 66%. That's a average-ish in this division. His takedown defense, though, only 62%. So all of those years of wrestling credentials, defending takedowns is a little bit harder. His striking is not great, but he is improving fight over fight. He does have a negative striking differential, but he's got a solid chin, very real power in his hands. Coming off that first ever career loss to Grant Dawson, who actually out-wrestled the hell out of him. And when I saw this matchup, my gut reaction...
Who said that? I mean...
Congratulations. And I think you also picked Grant to
Whoa!
Bobby Green. Yeah.
No? What?
Yeah. When I saw this matchup, gut reaction was, I'm going to go with the Olympian, right? Jared Gordon's a wrestler. Let me go with the Olympic wrestler against the wrestler. And then you look a little closer. You see what Grant Dawson did. You see, like, oh, Jared Gordon's got better striking too. And then it's like, okay, I think Jared Gordon's going to win this fight. So I do think Jared's going to win this fight. He's going to be younger. He's going to be faster. The better striker. Not the better wrestler, but Mark has shown that he can be taken down. He can be out-wrestled. So Jared's going to be the pick. I'm not taking minus 175 odds against a wrestler versus an Olympic wrestler. I'm not doing it. I'm going to leave this fight alone. I'm not going to touch it, but Jared Gordon's going to be the pick. But those odds seem a little wide considering they do the same thing, and one of them has done it at a much higher level. What do you think, Jakey boy?
You know what's funny is that we all kind of missed the obvious play in the Marco Madsen-Grant Dawson fight, because in that fight, he drops Grant Dawson in like the first 15 seconds. And it just so happened Grant Dawson was able to survive, get a leg, and like scramble around to try to get one of those weird, desperate, fucking pussy takedowns that he tries to get every minute of every hour. But I don't know why that was such a hateful thing. But I think we all know why. I think we all know why that was such a hateful thing. But I mean, the writing was on the wall as far as Grant Dawson. But I bring that up because Mark Madsen, I think, has really shown. You mentioned his striking is improving. I think he's shown some really good improvement. And now Vince Pichel is not like known as like this great boxer or whatever, but he was really kind of lighting a guy like Vince Pichel up. And in this matchup, I think this is a great matchup. If Mark Madsen's going to fight anyone in the lightweight division, it's probably a good matchup for him because Jared Gordon's not a powerful guy. Jared Gordon is kind of a guy that just will kind of try to out-tough you, and he definitely can in this matchup, but he does that by kind of just hanging in the pocket, staying in, kind of dirty boxing, and then mixing the takedowns from there. Well, if you're in the pocket and you're exchanging, you're getting hit, Mark, I think, can have some success with the striking, but as you brought up, Angelo, Greco-Roman wrestling, that's a lot of body lock, upper body stuff, and Jared Gordon's style kind of standing right in front of you, it should be easy for Mark to engage in those clinch positions, and if he's able to do that, I think he can take a guy like Jared Gordon down. I mean, he should be better, especially in those type of positions, so I'm actually going with the dog here, Marco Madsen, just because I think he if the striking's not to Mark Madsen, I think it's kind of a wash. Mark has underrated power. Jared's known as his toughness, but for a while there, he was kind of getting chinned. So we'll see if the chin's able to hold up. I like Mark Madsen here to kind of grind out. I think it's definitely a close fight. And I'm not like super confident in Mark. I don't have a bet on him, but I think that he's able to kind of grind out two rounds with some takedowns and win this fight.
Well, age isn't really a factor either because it's like, Mark's pretty old, 39, but Jared Gordon's 35, and obviously that is a difference.
That's an old 35 too.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not like 25 to 32. Like 35 is already like okay.
And he's been through some stuff.
Starting to slow down a little bit. Why he's a recovered addict?
I believe he's he went to prison too. I mean, was it jail or prison or something?
I forget. I didn't meet him, but when I went to UFC, whatever the hell it was in Vegas, it was International Fight Week, and he was there like on the level, like there was like this whole sponsored whatever, and he was there. I actually like walked past him. I was like, why do I recognize it? And I was like, oh, it's Jared Gordon. Small. Says 5'9", felt much smaller than 5'9". Felt like you're 5'9".
Well,
yeah,
5'9" is pretty tall, and I'm much taller than 5'9". I had friends in high school that were 5'9", and if they had to talk, otherwise I'd be like, if they weren't talking, I didn't know they were there. I just right over top of them.
Yeah, everybody will just pay close.
But yeah, Jared seems like a good dude. I'll be honest. I just rewatched.
Seems super nice.
Yeah, and I rewatched that Patty fight. Initially, I'm like, okay, it's close fight or whatever. I don't know how to give that fight to Patty. I don't know.
Oh, he beat the hell out of Patty.
It was like, yeah, oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, he had a couple of takedowns. Striking was about even, but that's how that goes. $8,900 in DraftKings though, not happening. I'm not going to do it. I'm not touching that at all. $7,300 in DraftKings for Mark Madsen. Problem is, Jared Gordon could Grant Dawson him, and then he puts up nothing, basically. So, you're picking him to win. Are you trusting him with your $7,300 in DraftKings
I don't
Fantasy?
Trust him with anything.
Yeah, well, there it is. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member, and you will see all of our DraftKings Fantasy plays, as well as our bets, the insight, the DraftKings Optimizer. We have a full suite of FanDuel plays and FanDuel ownership. Again, we have the best FanDuel ownership in the game. Just like we do with the best DraftKings ownership. So if you don't play fantasy, everything I just said doesn't make any sense. So there's bets there too. WeOwnPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Next up at UFC 295, we have Nazim Sadykhov taking on Viacheslav Borshchev. Nazim Sadykhov, 9-1 overall.
Actually, the way you ended that, I like that.
I can roll, baby.
Borshchev.
If he dies, he dies. Nazim Sadykhov, 9-1 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, coming off the come-from-behind submission win over Terrence McKinney. He was losing that fight. Pulled it out, managed to make it happen. He's taking on Viacheslav Borshchev. 7-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off a skid-breaking win over Mahashete. Nazim Sadykhov is a striker. Actually, he's also at that Sarah Longo fight, Chip. There's a whole bunch of them on this.
He is.
It's the whole card.
He is one.
It's the whole card. Solid kickboxer, good speed, good power. He's not reckless. He does take his time. He likes to find his openings. He'll plot forward and counter-strike at the same time. He is patient, but he will do some wild stuff. He's 9-1. That one and only loss is because he spun around for no reason at all, and that got him in some trouble, and he lost that fight. I mentioned he's coming off that submission win over Terrence McKinney. He got worked early, weathered the wrestle-heavy storm, came back, and got it done in the second round. He's taking on Viacheslav Borshchev. This guy is a striker through and through. A fantastic striker. Had a legitimate professional kickboxing career before he transitioned to MMA. Great jabs, solid power, great kicks. Unfortunately, everyone is well aware of how good his striking is, so they take him down. And he can be taken down. He's been taken down 24 times. Why am I listening to Christmas music? Oh, Slava Claus, idiot. Would you shut that off until it's your turn? You know, it's funny. My neighbors just put their Christmas lights up in their house. So
I've seen them popping up, man. It's like, holy shit. I guess it is November now, but I mean, still. That's like it should be, you do it the day after Thanksgiving, and you do it, and you take them down the day after New Year's.
That's not enough time.
And you do it, that's a fucking month. That's
No,
6 weeks if you wait till New Year's.
Dude, we're putting Christmas lights on 3 sides of this house. They're doing it on Thursday, and they're going to be on. They're going to be on immediately. Anyway, Viacheslav Borshchev, nasty striker. Everybody knows he's a nasty striker, so they want to take him down. He's been taken down 24 times in 5 UFC fights, and that's a ton. But if you think about it, that means he stood up 22 or 23 times. He gets taken down. He works his way back up. He never quits. He's never out of it, but he can be ridden out. I mean, that's just the reality of what happens when you're a high-level striker.
Rode hard and put up wet.
When you're a high-level
striker. Do you know that's an actual saying? That's an actual saying. You're Mr. Country.
I am not Mr. Country because I kill doves.
I like to be real hard and put up wet.
What does that mean?
You don't even know what that means?
No, what's
if
wet?
you take a horse out? If you take a horse out and you go ride and they sweat like crazy, so they ride them hard and they put them up wet.
Horses sweat?
Yeah, they get all sweaty. Yeah,
I didn't know horses got sweaty.
I've taken riding lessons, so I mean I'm a equestrian.
I'm not saying you're a liar. You clearly know your way around a horse.
You ride them hard and you put them up wet.
Very bizarre. Anyway, Nazim, minus 135. This continues to tighten. He was minus 155 on Sunday when I did the quick picks video. He's minus 135 now. And I get it. I get it. He should be the favorite. He is the more well-rounded fighter. He's the more complete fighter. This is an MMA fight. But Viacheslav Borshchev has nasty scramble skills, a great get-up game, and insane hands. I'm in a slight lean Viacheslav to win this fight. I think he can get it done. I mean, if they're going to end up in a striking match, that's a very big problem for Nazim. If Nazim wants to wrestle, he'll probably have some success. And Viacheslav's just going to stand right back up, and he's going to be ready to go with those hands. And Nazim is not a wrestler. Yes, he won his last fight by submission, but he is not a wrestler. So if he comes out here with a wrestle-heavy game plan, it's going to be sort of out of his comfort zone, not his normal style. And unless he turns into Mark DeCasey, who's just diving at legs all the time.
Oh, fuck Mark DeCasey, man.
He turned it. The guy was a good striker.
The guy's he's like, I'm going to put on a show in Brazil. He ate 2 leg kicks and just laid on the guy. I actually think Howie won that fight. I mean, he was the only one doing anything. I mean, Mark literally was just like, don't move. Please don't move. And just every once in a while, just kind of, guy's a fucking loser.
Well, point being, Nazim's not a wrestler. He will probably come out here looking to wrestle. It'd be foolish not to. And he may have some early success, but Borshchev's not going to slow down. He's going to keep standing up. And if Nazim's not a wrestler and all of a sudden he's wrestling, he's going to slow down. He's going to gas, potentially have some issues. So I think Viacheslav's going to get this done. And I guess so do a lot of other people because he opened at plus 285. He's plus 115. He might flip by fight night. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, it got real close at one point. I was watching him, and I'll be honest with you, this was the first bet that I placed. I like this matchup for
placed this bet a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I like this fight for Slava because he is going to be the better striker. He's going to be by far the better striker in this matchup. And I know people are going to be like, as you mentioned, you got to take him down. You got to take him down. You get the fat takedown. He can't really. I mean, that's true. I mean, that is true. But I've seen, if you watch him, and I feel like I'm an expert in take down the fence and all this stuff. You can see that he's improving. I honestly think that he really is improving. In that last fight versus Mahachete's not a wrestler, but he did take a decent shot when he started losing the striking. And Slava sprawled really well. I mean, he was really quick with that takedown defense. And the camp that he's at Team Alpha Male, they know what they're doing. He's not at some hodgepodge, camp where he's trying to learn himself. He's at Team Alpha Male. We've seen. Think about Song Yadong and the improvements that he has made in the wrestling, especially the takedown defense. It's almost impossible to take that guy down at this point. Slava, if you look at the Instagram, he's in there with Clay Guidi. He's at Team Alpha Male. All those guys, they know what they're doing. I have a feeling that he's going to come in and Nazim's going to think what everyone else is thinking. I'm not really a wrestler. As you mentioned, he doesn't really commit to the wrestling, but I'll just take this guy down. And when he can't take this guy down as easily as he thinks, he is going to be in a world for hurt because even if he gets him down, Slava's not a pussy. Slava's not a quitter. He is a guy that's going to keep working. He's getting better and better, not only at defending the takedowns, but getting back to his feet. And Slava is the much better fighter. And let me just end it with this. Nazim has a debt to... This is not a joking matter.
No, I know what you're
Nazim has a debt to pay to the universe. And I've mentioned this before about fighters, and every time I do, it 100% comes true. Nazim was losing against my lock of the week. Evan Elder was getting dominated. All three judges had it 10-9, 10-9 for Evan Elder. Evan Elder is not the striker Slava is. That was a mostly striking matchup, and he was doing enough to win that fight in the striking. Evan Elder get a little baby cut above his eye. Mark Smith jumping in, thinking he's a savior. He's going to save the day. They stopped the fight. Nazim got a win that he did not deserve. He owes the universe a payback from that win. Slava finishes him.
There you go. Well, the MMA gods have come a-knocking, I guess. I'm on your side here. We both have Viacheslav. People keep saying, why was he not your lock of the week? I thought he was going to be your lock of the week. Why isn't he your lock of the week?
Oh, Slava?
Yeah. Actually, I said it like it was a statement, but I guess it is a question. Because you did bet on him super early.
Yeah, well, I thought we weren't giving away, so it could be Slava. Lock of the week videos live.
It might be. Check the video.
It's like the fourth time you've done that. I did the lock of the week. I specifically asked you.
You didn't ask. Show me where you asked.
Earlier in the stream, before we went live, we were sitting here. I said, by the way, don't bring up lock of the week.
That's not true.
Oh,
and I'm not even saying who it is. There's 13 fights, which means there's 12 other underdogs.
Wow. It's not Slava. And I'll be honest with you. It's not Slava.
Why not?
It's not Slava, and this is honestly one of the main reasons I messaged him and wanted to do something cool for the video. I messaged him and was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You're locking the week, this and this. I want you to record, and I was willing to pay him too. I literally said, I'll pay you. Willing to record a video just saying, hey, I'm Slava. I'm Jacob's lock of the week. That would have been awesome to put in the video. Guy leaves me not even on red. I didn't even open the message. But he's still going to win. But so I was like, fuck it. You know what?
I mean, better that it didn't even open it. If he opened it, that'd be pretty annoying.
I got a lot of girls opening my messages. By the way, Amanda Hebos responded to one of my messages. We have engaged in Instagram conversation through the DMs. And that's a big step. Think about this, Angelo.
It is.
There was a point. Let me see what time it was that she said it.
I kept saying you're going to get blocked and banned in a restraining order.
She was sitting in the sun, and I think she was in a swimming suit as well, judging by her stories in the timeline. Just basking in the sun, laying in Brazil, had her phone open, in my DMs, smiling, typing away. At one point, Amanda Hebos was just laying in the sun in Brazil, typing to me. That's a big step, man. That's a big step.
A DM, and that's not public. Yeah, that's a private conversation.
And this was a conversation. I mean, I said, because she posted a picture of like some trees and stuff. I said, is that a toucan? I said, is that a toucan? She responded, that was on Wednesday. She responded on a Sunday.
She told you where she lived?
She responded on a Sunday. She said, yes, in front of my house, there is a lot of. Then she added
you should come.
And then she added a lot of like XOXO and like here I'll show you the picture.
You're like, what's that purple vegetable? A couple of those.
Angelo, I mean, let's try to get weird about it.
Yeah, no. Is that a toucan? I'm the weirdo.
Is that a toucan? She said yes. They are in front of my house. There's a lot of. And then you can't really see that smiley face, but
it's the thirsty one. Anyway. Back to this, $8,500 in DraftKings. No, thank you. $7,700 in DraftKings. I'm gonna have to look a little closer. When he wins, he puts up numbers. When he loses, he's just defending a million takedowns.
Second round, maybe third.
Oh, Jacob's all over it. If you want to check out Jacob's bets for this fight, some of them have been placed for weeks. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. It's only $10 a month. And if you are a premium member, link your Discord. This way you can get alerts to your phone. You would have seen Jacob's bet a week and a half ago on this fight.
Or another one that was literally months ago.
Not on this fight.
On this card. And it was good value.
What was it?
We'll get there.
Okay. We'll get there then. Wait, it's still up?
Oh, it's up. And on the other
Anyway, WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. Next up at UFC 295.
My favorite thing is that you immediately looked at the camera like, what's he going to do?
Well,
What's he going to do? Guys,
I'm
I'm very mature about this.
We have Tabatha Ricci taking on Lupita Godinez. Tabatha Ricci, 9-1 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. She's taking on Lupita Godinez, 11-3 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and she's coming off that submission win at UFC Noche. We do have a battle of the grapplers, if you will. Tabatha Ricci's a very good grappler. She takes her time, she settles into positions, and then she'll look for her submissions after that. She's very heavy on top, really good pressure and control. She's going to ground and pound when she's on top, and if you move a little too much, she'll make something happen. She is going to strike. She is going to shoot a bunch of takedowns. She's very, very strong, and she tries to use that strength in these fights. And outside of her UFC debut loss, which was up a weight class and short notice, she has looked very good in the UFC, most recently against Jillian Robertson, where it just wasn't even close who the better grappler was going to be. She's taking on Lupita Godinez. She's not necessarily a grappler. She's a wrestler, a very strong wrestler, good striking, clean boxing. She's got great setups for both the boxing and the wrestling. She's big for the weight class. That is obviously a relative term, but she's big for the weight class. She is also pretty strong. And she likes to come forward, work against the cage, grind out some takedowns, or stay on the outside and work in a whole bunch of striking. When she is firing on all cylinders, she can beat almost everybody in this division. The problem is she has proven to be a little bit inconsistent in the past, most notably that loss against Angela Hill, the way she barely beat Cynthia Calvillo and then was acting like it was domination. But since moving to the Alexa Grasso fight camp, she seems to have been much more controlled, much more focused, comes forward, runs through people. What?
Lobo Gym. No. Not Globo Gym, but Team Lobo.
Yeah, I get that reference.
Globo Gym?
Yeah.
At Globo Gym, we're better than you, and we know it.
We get a lot of, I mentioned this in my quick picks video, we get a lot of DMs. Like, we got a pretty big social media presence. We get a good amount of DMs.
By the way.
And I've gotten a bunch on this card. One we'll talk about in the Pat Sabatini fight. I've gotten 2 or 3 messages about that. And then I've gotten a bunch about this fight. And I don't know if it's because people think Jacob's the one running the Instagram, but it's not. It's me. And when I say running, I mean posting things and replying to messages. But Tabatha Ricci seems to be the people's lock of the week. A lot of people are like, Tabatha Ricci's going to win this fight. Tabatha Ricci's going to run through Lupi. And frankly, if Lupita Godinez shows up and fights the way that she fought Angela Hill, Tabatha Ricci might beat her. But if the Lupi that we just saw shows up, she runs through Tabatha. Lupi is a phenomenal wrestler, like a very, very good wrestler. She's got very good clean boxing. And yet Tabatha Ricci's going to have the better jiu-jitsu, but her takedowns are just okay, and her striking is not. So now we have a very good wrestler taking on somebody that's got decent takedowns, and the striking difference is also in Lupi's favor. If Lupi fights like a weirdo, she will get taken down. She will lose this fight. But if her wrestling is what it's supposed to be, I think she wins this fight, and these odds are correct, but I'm certainly not spending the money. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I need everyone to listen to me and listen to me very, very clearly. Because as everyone knows, first of all, I love both of these females. They are both not only as far as like an attractiveness thing, but as literally as fighters, they are both very, very fun to watch. I've been all over Lupi since her debut. Even before kind of Ricci kind of came along, I was all over Lupi, saying that she can be a champion because she has the talent level to be a champion. And I sat here time and time again, every single fight, and said, oh, she's going to dominate because she's one of the best fighters in this division. She's going to be, and every single time I'm watching her fights, like, what are we doing, Lupi? What are we doing? For the longest time, it has been just wrestle. Just Lupi, just please, for the love of God, just wrestle. You can out-wrestle every single girl in this division, and you can be the champion. And she never committed to the wrestling. Finally, she goes to Team Lobo Gym. They get her straight. Diego Lopes is there. He's kind of the jiu-jitsu, but I think he's kind of running things. Alexa Grasso, they get the striking right. But they turned her into what she should be. And that is an aggressive striker leading to the dominant, powerful takedowns in the aggressive wrestling and grappling. And I'd love to see it in that matchup versus Elise Reed. I don't want to see any wrestling. I don't want to see any wrestling from Lupita. Yes, can she get the takedowns and the control? Absolutely, I can. Or absolutely, I believe that she can. She is the better wrestler in this matchup. But the best chance Ricci has, in my mind, is going to be when there's a takedown coming to either sweep the positions once she's on the ground or use judo or some sort of toss. You even saw Elise Reed use a judo toss, a throw to get Lupita down momentarily. Lupita scrambled, got the top position. We'd love to see that type of stuff. But Ricci's best chance is going to be if the fight goes to the ground in a scramble, something of that nature. Because Ricci, for as good as she is in the jiu-jitsu, and she's okay in the wrestling and okay in the judo as well, her striking is very lackluster. She's a volume striker with no real power, and she can get hit by pretty much anyone. Lupita's going to have the power advantage. She's going to have a major striking advantage. Just get in her face. Just touch her up. Don't overextend yourself with the striking, because sometimes Lupita can load up a little bit. Don't overextend yourself in the striking to where Ricci can get a takedown, but just keep touching her. Just jab. Tabatha Ricci is a very hittable girl, and there's not going to be much power coming back your way. Just touch her, wear her down. That's exactly what Manon Ferro did. I know it was an up and weight in UFC debut for Ricci, but you just touch her, you break her down. Then the wrestling won't be as effective as she tries to use it. Lupita should be better everywhere. I'm very confident in her in this matchup. I love Ricci. She is going to beat every single person that she can out-wrestle. And unfortunately, I don't think she can out-wrestle Lupita, but she can definitely make it close. This is Lupita's fight. I mean, this is, like as you mentioned, if she shows up the way she should honestly dominate. But if she doesn't, starts messing around, things will get weird.
Yeah, her takedown defense is solid at 82%. I agree. She doesn't need to offensively wrestle, but she's definitely going to need to defend takedowns because Tabatha will shoot. So,
right.
Here's to hoping. I don't have any money on this fight, though, so it actually doesn't matter.
I like, if you can listen to me, if I'm picking against Ricci, guys, that's what I want to. I mean, because I love Ricci. She is.
I hear you.
She is a ball of sunshine. There's no doubt about that. So if I'm picking against her, if I can put my bias aside, that's pretty big.
This is going to be tough to overcome when you guys are. When she starts responding to DMs and somebody sends her
it's going to be, this is what's going to happen here in 8 years, right? After we already had an established relationship, maybe a couple kids or whatever, we're going to have a little bit of a spat in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, she's going to put on speakerphone this breakdown right here and be like, oh, remember when you picked against me? And I'll be like, oh, shit.
Well, everybody keeps saying it's a reverse jinx and you're just doing this to will it.
When this fight was announced, obviously I was heartbroken because I am a fan of both of them, and I want them both to do well. And when this was announced, I was like, oh no, Ricci. Oh no.
Well, $7,500 in DraftKings. If you, there are a lot of people on the Tabatha Ricci side, a lot of people, and mostly just because of consistency issues with Lupita, which is tough too, those are valid concerns. She does have consistency issues.
Lobo, but it's changed her.
Well, and she looked phenomenal in her last fight. And the consistency issues aren't necessarily – it's not like she's not a quitter. It's not consistency like is she going to quit? Is she not going to quit? She's not a head case. She just doesn't do the things she's supposed to do, which is very different than like, I'm not in the mood to fight. I'm going to turn my head and just quit. But it'll be an interesting fight. I'm actually looking forward to it. And this does have like a meaningful impact on the division. Because both of them are on streaks, both of them are beating people, and they're sort of moving up in the right direction. I don't know if I'm going to spend the $8,700 in DraftKings. I think there's money better spent on this card, but certainly looking forward to this fight. If you want to see all the picks, the bets, the insight, the data, the analytics, everything you could ever want, WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. It's only $10 a month. That's going to get this event and every other event in that month period.
And we have to make a point, too, that might not have just been Lupita acting that way in fights. That could be literally game planning from her coaches. That could be literally the whole camp was designed on this is how you're going to fight, and it was just a wrong game plan. So being at a new camp, I think she's that's a really good camp for her. She seems really happy there too.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. What's funny is somebody said Jacob can't stand up right now for obvious reasons, right?
I wish.
And then this dude, who I think he called me fat about 11. He called me fat about 11 times. Is he in a wheelchair? Just
not yet.
This dude, nonstop attacking me, turns out doesn't have any sense of humor and doesn't get jokes. It's nice to win one. It's nice to win one like that. Next up, at UFC 295, we have a blank screen because they just announced this fight a couple hours ago. We have Mateusz. Can you check to see if there's actually odds for this already?
There is. What do you think it is? Let's give a guess.
I would say Mateusz Rebecki minus 350.
Minus 600.
Okay, well, there goes the second half of this breakdown, which talks about if Mateusz Rebecki's affordable, I'll have him in a parlay. I actually may still put him in a parlay. Minus 650 is not crazy, but let's talk about
600.
Oh, it went down. We have Mateusz Rebecki at 18-1. He is 5-0 in his last 5. He is on a 15-fight win streak. He's taking on Roosavelt Roberts. This guy's 12-3 overall. 2-1 in his last 5. He is stepping up on very short notice. They announced it today. They probably started talking about it yesterday. So very short notice to get him on this card. Mateusz Rebecki was already on this card. Supposed to fight Nerulio Alive. Anyway, Rebecki's a relentless wrestler. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw giant 1-2 punches and then start diving at legs. He is a grappler, but he'll get sucked into firefights. He'll hang around and throw some bombs. He can be a bit reckless. That does leave him up on the feet. It gives his opponent space to work up when he's on the ground. But he does have some pretty good cardio considering his insane pace. He can be sloppy, but it hasn't been an issue for him recently. He's coming off that showcase win over Loik Radzhabov, where he dropped him twice.
Damn it.
Before the finish. Yeah, another failed. Was that a lock of the week?
It wasn't a lock of the week. Just relax. Fucking pump the brakes. But I was pretty high on Loik, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That's my new favorite thing to say. Failed lock of the week. I did it like 3 weeks ago for
Well,
no
it gets
reason.
you fired up too because a lot lately we've kind of been on the same page, at least for picks. But you're not saying it's a lock, but at least for picks, you know. And and this one, you really don't like this one, so.
What do you mean? Oh, you're locked this week? Oh,
right. So now you're fired up.
I'm very that actually I think is
literally,
when I
know.
say another failed lock of the week because I have it in my head. Jacob sucks at this. Oh, that last fight's catching up to you. Anyway, he's taking on Roosavelt Roberts. This guy is a talented guy. He's been in and out of the UFC since 2018. His overall UFC record is 5-1, and then another 1-1 from his most recent season of The Ultimate Fighter. He's very long, very fast, good movement. He uses jab well. He sets up solid kicks. He also has good offensive submissions when he's not just like pulling guard for a guillotine, which is always sad to see. Overall, he's a dangerous guy, but he can be chinny. He can be taken down. We don't have a line yet for this fight, but when we do, I guess we just got the line.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I'm very heavy on Rebecki, and I think he wins this fight, but what I do want to put out there is that Roosavelt Roberts is a solid fighter.
Why do you say Roosevelt? It's Roosevelt.
R-O-O-S.
It's
Two
Roosevelt. His name's not Roosevelt. Jesus Christ.
It might literally be Roosevelt.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, he's dangerous. He's better than, now that I know what the odds are, I thought it was going to be minus 350, minus 400. Roberts is better than these odds potentially because he's got 5 wins in the UFC. So at this level, he's won 5 fights, and his losses are to Jim Miller, Vince Bichelle, Ignacio Bahamondes. Those are all quality. The one that is not quality, though, is Kevin Kroom. That one's kind of embarrassing. But at the end of the day, I'm still going Rebecki. He was already on this card. He's got big power in his hands. Phenomenal wrestling. He should absolutely win this fight. Even at minus 650, probably decent to parlay. But I think, why are you writing your wife and me DMs?
No, that's already there, but you mentioned Kevin Kroom, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, that guy's a trash bag for sure. Anyway, so obviously Rebecki's the easy pick. What do you think? Chicky boy.
I'll be straight up and honest with you. I could sit here and pretend and try to make you think that I know everything about this fight, but I'm not that type of guy. I haven't had time to look at this fight. I have no idea. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, I think so-and-so wins. I mean, I haven't looked at the fight yet, so I can't really give a breakdown. The fight was announced while I was right before I went to the gym, and obviously we got that lift in, and now I'm sitting here, so I haven't had time to look at it yet, so stay tuned to Discord or whatever, and we'll make a pick eventually, but there you go.
Well, when Jacob makes his pick, it'll be on premium, but it's going to be a pretty obvious pick. I will say, like I said, Roberts is more talented than people giving him a little credit for. I mean, 5 wins in the UFC is not nothing. And then, yes,
he's not a slouch. I'm actually surprised by those odds because I actually watched that. I think I was still watching was it the Ultimate Fighter that he fought?
He was on this last season.
Yeah, on the Veterans, whatever. That was like one of the first episodes because I watched one of the first episodes. I think I watched him fight, and then I'm like, well, this show fucking sucks.
Yeah, he knocked that dude out, and then he went to a super close decision with Austin Hubbard. So he's not. I mean, he does not. He's better than these odds. Short notice is certainly a factor.
Future champ.
There it is. He certainly better than the odds that you don't see on the screen, but do exist out in the wild. But Mateusz Rebecki's a beast. Dude's 18-1, nonstop wrestler, good power in his hands. Was already on this card. He should absolutely win, but that's not a knock on Roberts, who's better than his record. We don't have DraftKings pricing. I'm sure we will by Thursday-ish. And Rebecki's probably going to be worth the money in your DraftKings lineup. I don't have much to show here, and that's why becoming a premium member is very important, because as the props drop for this fight, as things happen for this fight, we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump on them, and you're going to get alerts to your phone because you linked your Discord at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. And somebody said he got smoked by Bahamondes. Dude, Bahamondes is good. He looked terrible in that last fight with that nasty kickboxer. Who was that dude's name? Come on. He's a foreign kickboxer. Come on with it.
I'm not even trying to think of it because I don't really care.
Oh. Well, anyway, Bahamondes is very good. So losing to him, losing to Jim Miller, losing to Vince Pichel, those are
Ludovic Klein. Oh, yes. Ludovic.
Yes, Ludovic Klein. Those are not bad losses.
Bruv.
Next up at UFC 295, we have that fight. It happens once a year. The UFC takes somebody from the audience. It's like, come on down, and the price is right. And they got Steve Erceg. They said, this guy, you're going to fight. So Steve Erceg was delivering pizzas earlier in the week. He is now in the UFC, and he's going to be fighting Alessandro Costa. Steve Erceg is 10-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 9-fight win streak. Taking on Alessandro Costa, 13-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that stoppage win over Jimmy Flick. It is funny because the dude on the left is a big favorite that people are very, very confident in. Does not look the part. The dude on the right, however, absolutely looks the part. And if you just bet based off of
I get
looks,
the same thing. Anytime I'm walking around anywhere, everyone's like, oh my God, you got to be a fighter. You got to be a fighter.
Calvin Klein model.
And Jakey I just started speaking Portuguese, and they're like, oh my God, he is a fighter.
There it is. I knew it. I knew it.
I say, pode repetir, por favor? Yeah. And they're like, oh my God. Oh.
And they're like, why are you in this neighborhood? Like, does you have a poor friend or something? And then you just keep walking. Steve Erceg, pretty slick grappler. He attacks very quickly. He snatches things up in scrambles. His striking's not great, but he does have good calf kicks, and he showcased those in his last fight. Really wide stance, not the best head movement, but he does have a nice jab, and he'll pump that out while moving forward. Striking's not phenomenal, but he does throw with volume, and he's constantly moving forward. His grappling is impressive. He moves very fluidly, and he likes to seize opportunities. He's coming off that short notice UFC win over David Dvorak, where he had 3 takedowns and threw 142 strikes. He's taking on Alessandro Costa. This guy is a very solid striker with pretty good takedown defense. Striking style is that high, tight guard. He is patient. He'll wait. He'll find the shots, and then he will throw heavy. Every single thing he throws is 100% effort, 100% looking to take your head off, looking to rip that body, looking to do damage. Not really a lot of setup jabs. He's going to leap in. He's going to throw the left to the body. He's going to come right to the head. He's got real power, but he can be low volume. He's coming off that second round knockout over Jimmy Flick. I'm going Costa here. I don't know why. I didn't like Erceg in the last matchup. I don't like him in this matchup. People are obsessed with him, talking about he's unbelievably talented, and I get it. My biggest issue with him, he's very hittable. Like, he gets hit a lot. And Alessandro Costa hits hard, good power, pretty fast, and I don't think that's the type of guy you want to get hit by. So 13-2 versus 10-1 to have these kind of odds, a hittable guy in his second UFC fight. You know, I'm leaning Costa right now, but what I may end up doing, Jakey boy, I told you the public is obsessed with Erceg, and the public is obsessed with, who's that dude we broke down earlier? Josh Van. I may just parlay them, throw a unit on it, call it the public's parlay, and just see what the hell happens. But I am on the Costa side. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Alessandro Costa, I don't think that he definitely is going to have a chance in this matchup for all the reasons you listed. So I don't completely disagree with that type of pick because Erceg does get hit. Costa might have some of the best power in the division, except for maybe Amir Albazi, who went toe to toe with him and really kind of showed that Costa might not really have the durability that we would like to see, especially against a guy like Steve Erceg. I believe that this fight, especially short notice for Costa, he is another Lobo gym person. It's going to be Loopy, him and Diego. They were there together. He's going to be tough. I agree. He is going to be powerful. I think he's going to eventually start fading, but it's going to be a durability fight. And Steve Erceg has shown that guy gets hit, but he can take a shot. I mean, he doesn't react at all to anything you throw at him. I think on the ground, these guys are pretty evenly matched. Steve Erceg, honestly, is just a grappler who just tries to knock everyone out, and he has some decent success doing it. I think they're pretty even on the ground. I think the cardio and durability edge is going to go to Steve Erceg, but it comes down to, my mind, they're both going to land on each other. I haven't seen Steve. It's got to be I almost said a titty twister. It's got to be a titty twister. I haven't seen Steve Erceg react negatively to getting hit. I've seen Costa not only get finished in that third round, which is kind of a bad knockout. I think in the second round, he also got dropped as well. I think Steve, with kind of that length, his reach, the way he's able to kind of unorthodox strike, it's not like super orthodox. I think he's going to find the shot and find the chin on Costa eventually to either hurt him and put him out or do enough to win the fight. So I understand Erceg is kind of a weird dude, but I mean, that dude throws with power. He is tough as shit. And if it goes to the ground, he's more than capable to be able to survive, maybe even sweep position. So I understand why people are so high on Erceg. And what was the opening odds? Back.
200.
So eventually, all right, at one point, they moved all the way, because I think he was at minus 145 or something like that at one point. I think that would have been really good value. Minus 200, I think it's still playable, but, if this wasn't short notice, I mean, short notice is kind of tough. Not so much at 125, but still kind of tough.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. He's just a little too hittable for me, but obviously he is good, clearly. So I'm just being a hater for... I have actually no reason why. I do worry about Costa's cardio. If Costa had cardio and I knew that dude could push, and he has been to decisions. It's not like he's never seen a decision. But if I knew that dude could push, no problem, keep coming forward, take his beating, keep moving, I'd be all in on him. But I do worry that he will slow down, he'll get hit, and then sort of turn away and do all that stuff.
I mean, that's what you see a lot with these guys that are powerful guys, right? These in the pocket. I mean, he's nice, tight shots. When you throw everything with power, it's just really hard to do. It's easier with these lighter guys, but it's still hard to do over 15 minutes. And Steve's going to be in his face, man. I mean, in his face.
Well, and he's very, very hittable, but he seems to have a chin. So it's not as if... it's mattering too much for him. But the only way that $8,600 makes sense is if you think...
Somebody said maybe Erceg can fix your computer.
That's exactly...
let's take a look here. Oh, my heavens.
The only way that $8,600 is worth it is if, Erceg does wear down, beat up, and then finish a Costa, especially with some takedowns and stuff. But people are pointing out that Costa is training with Diego Lopes, who will break down a little bit.
I literally already said that he's at Lobo Gym.
People in the comment section are talking about that. And as we know, the comment section people are incredibly sharp. So if you want to check out the picks, the bets, and everything else, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. And Phil Lover says, why do you keep saying doll hairs? That's from Dumb and Dumber, buddy. Ooh, you said doll hairs? And he tries to pay with actual doll's hairs. And, I mean,
I don't think
we have a...
Is that...
It is from Dumb and Dumber. And we do have a joke critic here, so make sure your jokes are good, dude. This dude might tell you it's whack. Nerd. Next up, at UFC 295, we have the opening fight of the main card.
It's on
we have
Joe
Pat
Dirt, too, I think.
Sabatini taking on Diego Lopes. Pat Sabatini, 18-4 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that submission win over Lucas Alexander. He's taking on Diego Lopes, 22-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off his first UFC win after a short notice loss to kick off his UFC career. Pat Sabatini, dangerous grappler. Both these guys are grapplers. Both of them. This is, I don't even want to call them jiu-jitsu nerds. One of them's way nerdier than the other one, but these guys will come forward. They will fight. They will look to get it to the ground on their own. But Pat Sabatini's a dangerous grappler. He does have good wrestling. He shoots very nice takedowns. He's got solid pressure when he's on top. His grappling is absolutely incredible. He's always live for a submission. He's got some technical striking, but he is very stiff on his feet. Can be a little bit chinny. He's averaging almost 4 takedowns per fight and fewer than 2 significant strikes per minute, which tells you how all in he is on the grappling. He's coming off that bounce-back submission win over Lucas Alexander. He's taking on Diego Lopes, and we've talked about him a couple of times on this card. What?
Lucas Alexander.
That's what I said.
In Almeida.
Is that who he just beat, Lucas Almeida?
Yeah.
I think if I said Lucas Alexander, it's because we just broke him down last week, and that fight was scrapped. But anyway, he's taking on Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, dangerous grappler himself. We talked about it. He's coaching a lot of these better fighters in Mexico at that Lobo gym. And while he doesn't have the best takedowns or any takedown defense, his BJJ is very dangerous. He's a well-rounded guy. He wants to throw heavy power shots and chase finishes. His striking can get wild when he is chasing those finishes, but he keeps things in combinations. He's constantly throwing a whole bunch of stuff while moving forward, just looking for an opportunity to let his hands go. He's coming off that submission win over Gavin Tucker, where he was yet again very easily taken down, but he did pull off that submission. Diego Lopes isn't quite a BJJ nerd, but he might as well be. The dude absolutely doesn't defend takedowns. You shoot a takedown, you're going to get a takedown. It's just that simple. And it's because his jiu-jitsu is so good, and he's very confident in it. He's very, he's not worried about being on his back. He's not worried about giving up the control time. He thinks he can win off his back. The problem is, we saw with the Movsar Evloev fight. No, you can't. Yes, he had Movsar in a little bit of trouble here and there, but Pat Sabatini is a very, very, very good grappler. To the point where you have a problem with his striking, but his grappling is so good, he hasn't worked on the striking. He just keeps focusing on the grappling. So all we have to do here is Pat Sabatini's got to shoot the takedowns, and if he gets the takedowns, he's golden. Diego Lopes doesn't defend takedowns. So I see Pat Sabatini running through Diego Lopes. I think he's getting the takedowns. He's hanging out on top. He's beating him up. And Diego Lopes is going to be playing this game. Oh, I'm going to get a submission win. And then he won't. And then somebody, maybe Jacob, maybe people in the comment, are going to talk about, oh, well, we watched what's his name knock out Pat. Yeah, of course, that could happen. But I don't see it happening. Pat Sabatini's the pick. If I don't have money on him already, I will. I'm that good. What do you think, Jakey boy?
What a wow! That was that felt passionate. That felt nearly unscripted at times. I can't imagine where that passion originates from, but I've
been breaking down Diego Lopes the same way this whole time.
I think it's Lopes,
and you're the
way.
traitor. I've been saying Lopes, and you corrected me to say Lopes.
No, it's Lopes.
But you're the traitor. You were like Pat Sabatini's #1 fan. And then you're like, well, his striking hasn't improved. I don't like him anymore, which is
heaven forbid that I change my mind on a fighter because they don't progress the way that a normal fighter should progress. And I honestly, I'm glad you brought that up because I have been
need hands
talking
in this fight. He just needs takedowns. But go ahead, I'll let you go.
I have been screaming from the mountaintops from I don't know how long, months, maybe years at this point, that the Renzo Gracie camp is completely fraudulent. And I was probably their biggest fan. Was I not? I was screaming from a mountaintop about all these guys. I was a huge fan of Pat Sabatini. That was my dude. I said he would be the lock of the week no matter what. If he's the favorite, if he's the dog, he will always be the lock of the week. He is going to be a champion one day. That's what I was screaming from the mountaintops. Sean Brady, the same thing. Andre Petrossi, Jeremiah Wells, all these guys. If you have watched them over the last few years, as the competition has improved, they have not, specifically in the striking. All these guys are just terrible strikers. They're just terrible strikers, and they keep getting exposed as they move up. You saw that against Damon Jackson. Pat Sabatini was the most embarrassing lock of the week of all time. He was a minus 270 favorite as the lock of the week versus Damon Jackson. Gets a little boop, and he goes down for the count. Against Jamall Emmers, boop, he goes down for the count. He's able to find a heel hook out of the situation. I have gone over the days that I have, and Robert Whitaker taught me a very valuable lesson. When people are getting chinned, do not trust them. I don't care if they're supposed to be the this and this. We saw that with Nathaniel Wood. The same thing. That guy was constantly getting chinned. He comes into a matchup against somebody that can hit him. He gets chinned. And he didn't lose because of that, but you just cannot trust these guys that have bad striking with a bad chin because they react negatively to getting hit. And if there's somebody that's going to get in this dude's face, it's going to be Diego Lopes. He is going to be the better striker. His striking has come so far, especially being at Lobo. You've seen the improvements. You've seen the power. This guy, you mentioned he's a jiu-jitsu nerd. 22 wins, 12 submission wins, 8 KO TKOs. Pat Sabatini's got fucking 2. If anyone's a submission nerd, it's going to be Pat Sabatini. Diego Lopes, he will play the guard games. He will play the guard games. He will play the jiu-jitsu, but he has success doing it, and he can play it offensively at all times. He's always going to be dangerous, but I'm saying it right now. If you're Diego Lopes, you can't do it. Angelo is right. If you play this guard game, if you play off your back, Pat Sabatini is way too good.
He's not going to submit Pat Sabatini.
The best thing that Pat Sabatini does is just fucking control people. And he's so good at it, especially against the fence. You cannot rely on your off-the-back jiu-jitsu in this matchup. If you want to try an offensive wrestle, do something like that, that's fine. But when you get on your back, you have to get back to your feet because you have such a striking advantage. And let me say one other thing for Diego. Do not throw power shots. Diego gets wild with his shots. Big overhand rights, big flying knees, some big kicks. You don't need it. And if you try to do that, Pat is good enough to level change. And if he gets on a single leg, he is going to take you down. That's just what's going to happen. He's probably going to control you. Get in his face, smart pressure, jab, jab, jab. He's a hittable guy. Touch him. Throw that right hand right through the guard. Don't overextend with an overhand right. Stay safe in your stance. Stay nice and low. Be ready for those takedowns. Use jiu-jitsu to get back to your feet. Continue to strike and just knock this dude out with a nice straight right hand through the guard. It's going to be easy, Diego. Just strike with this guy. Don't play your jiu-jitsu game. That's my advice. I'm going Diego Lopes to get it done because I can't trust Pat Sabatini's chin. I just can't.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. First, listen, Jamall Emmers hits like a freight train. That dropped him. And then we watched, what's his name, do it. Ran across the cage, just whap. Like that.
Those weren't big shots, though. I know it was an awkward shot. It was out
of nowhere. It ran across the cage. Like what? So anyway.
And when he dropped, he was done. It wasn't like I'm fighting. That was a Grant Dawson, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, listen, the Grant
Jamal
Dawson
Emmers, by the way, 19 wins, 7 KOs. 37% of his wins are KOs. Monster power, Jamal Emmers.
My point is, hands removed. Pat Sabatini. So we talk about jiu-jitsu nerd a lot here. We say jiu-jitsu nerd. I think Jacob started it. A jiu-jitsu nerd is somebody who pulls guard, doesn't offense. It's not somebody who uses a lot of jiu-jitsu. If you're wrestling and you're making it happen, you're not a jiu-jitsu nerd. That's Pat Sabatini. Diego Lopes is a jiu-jitsu nerd. He's not full-blown pulling guard, but he's like, go ahead, take me down. Just waiting for it. That was him. And the whole Movsar Evloev fight. And everybody was like, whoa, he didn't get finished by a dude who never finishes anybody. This guy must be great.
And then
that's where all that popularity came from. A 40-year-old Gavin Tucker who haven't fought in 2 years. Congrats.
Smoked his ass.
Are we
but Diego and a lot of jiu-jitsu nerds.
I'll bet $500 on this fight.
Well, won your $500 bet. I don't know if you remember that, but we did Jalton.
I do remember it.
And
so
what a
I'll do it.
fucking joke. I mean, I've been screaming for a year that Jalton sucks, and he ends up sucking and still wins. It's fucking unbelievable. I mean, the guy's fucking terrible. But yeah, I'll bet on this one. But I'm going to say, too, a lot of jiu-jitsu nerds, and we use that kind of in like a derogatory term. I mean, that's honestly how we use it, because a lot of them are kind of soft, and they will kind of play the guard game. And once the guard game doesn't work, they'll kind of just kind of turtle up. We saw that, okay, lock of the week last week. Cowie. That way, he turned into just a jiu-jitsu nerd. He was just on his back in the guard, and he was just kind of laying there. Diego is very good at jiu-jitsu, can be classified as a jiu-jitsu nerd, but this dude is tough as fuck. And he is going to he is nonstop in his guard. I mean, that is a different level of jiu-jitsu nerd, because he is going to be nonstop in his guard over and over and over. And even if he gets here, I think it could be one of those situations where, you know, Diego Lopes maybe is in the guard, but is more active in the guard. Pat Sabatini is not like a ground and pound type of guy. He's also a jiu-jitsu guy. This could be a situation. What did we just see? We just saw Shara win a fight where he was mostly on his back because he was the more active guy, even though he was on his back. There is a world here where a lot of people were like, he beat Evolov because he was just so active off his back. Pat Sabatini will just lay on you and try to keep control. There's a situation where Diego could be on his back for 15 minutes and still win this fight. He's so active.
I think the only way Diego Lopes wins this fight is if he can connect on the feet. Outside of that, doesn't win this fight.
Ooh.
And I think you agree.
Diego? Lobo. Team Lobo, baby. By the way, Lobo parlay, since we've talked about all three of them, Costa, Lupi, and Diego, I think pays about plus 770 or something like that, if you want to play it.
Man, all three could lose. They could get shut out here.
What the fuck?
Two of them are literally supposed to lose. Lupi's the only one that's supposed to win.
Hey, you're just being disrespectful at this point. Don't trash the other fighters because you hate Diego Lopes.
I don't know why. He actually seems like a really pleasant guy.
I mean, he seems like the nicest dude in the entire world.
I don't have a problem with Diego Lopes. I hate
him.
I think everybody, he didn't get finished by Movsar Evelev, and everybody's like, he's so good. And it's like, what? He didn't get finished. That doesn't make him phenomenal. Let's see him in a real fight. This is the fight that we find out how good he is. He beat Gavin Tucker. That was great. But Gavin Tucker was old, hadn't fought in forever. This fight is when we find out if he's really good or not.
I agree.
All right. Looking forward to it. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member, and let's see if Jacob and I have some competing bets.
You know what's interesting, too, about this? Just a quick thing, because somebody kind of mentioned in the chat. Pat Sabatini is the favorite, right? And a lot of his wins are, especially against high-level people, are going to be decision wins, right? I mean, he's just kind of kind of grind people out or whatever. But the under 2.5 is minus 150, so they're expecting a finish, even though Pat is the favorite. I find that interesting.
And even Diego Lopes isn't like, yeah, he's a finisher, but like, what do they knockout is he's not going to submit Pat Sabatini.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
I'll bet any amount of money he's not going to submit Pat Sabatini. Ooh. Your knock on him is his hands haven't gotten better. That's because he spends so much time grappling.
Anybody can get submitted.
And he's a wrestler.
If anyone is going to submit Pat Sabatini, it's going to be Diego Lopes. That dude's been he is high level. He's not just some random black belt. This dude fucking is really good.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to this fight. This main card doesn't have like the wildest amount of star power, but every single one of these fights are pretty good. Speaking of very fun fights on the main card, we have Matt Frivola taking on Benoit Saint-Denis at UFC 295. Matt Frivola, 11-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy is 14-1, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. He's only 27 years old, and look at that face. That's this guy has lived.
Benoit Saint-Denis?
That 27 years, yeah.
Well, he was in the fucking French Special Forces. That dude was a Navy
I actually
SEAL.
asked that question in my quick picks. I'm like, how is he 27 retired from this? Like, was there an injury? Was there like I don't know how it works in France, like, you know, mandatory, whatever. But somebody said he joined when he was 18. I guess it was like famous that he was the youngest Special Forces member ever or something like that. and then, did it for a little while and moved on to this career. So anyway, Matt Frevola, another one of these Serra-Longo Fight Gym guys. We know Matt. We know him most recently, not a failed lock of the week. An actual, might have been the last ever successful lock of the week.
That's my dude.
Well, he knocked out Drew Dober, but he isn't just a big power puncher guy, even though he's got a couple of knockouts going on here. He is a tough wrestler. He never stops coming forward. He's not the most technical striker. He was losing all of the striking exchanges until he landed that one giant punch to Drew Dober. Yeah, watch the fight again. He was getting pieced up.
That's so
he was getting pieced up.
Okay. Dude, he was just backing up, but he was just picking him
apart. Oh, backing up because he was getting hit in the face.
No, Drew Dober just has that random just pressure because he can just eat everything, and Frevola was just touch, then pop. He wasn't all busted up and bloody from one shot, Angelo. He was getting beat up.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, so Matt Frevola, more than just a power puncher. He is a wrestler. He's going to come forward, push a pace, work in takedowns. He's averaging almost 3 takedowns per fight. The takedown percentage is low at 36%, but he's very busy constantly shooting. He does have 12 takedowns in 9 fights, but he hasn't needed any in his last 5. He's coming off that massive underdog win over Drew Dober, where he blasted that dude's chin. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy's also a very good wrestler. He's got really well-timed shots, ton of pressure on top, good old-fashioned. He will lower his level, shoot at the legs, attack the legs type wrestling. He's not trying to hold you against the cage and work you down like this. He has 5 fights in the UFC.
Was that the script, by the way? Do the hand movement.
This, anybody who, this is just you're working your way inside, trying to get those underhooks. 5 fights in the UFC, 13 takedowns. That is incredible, considering he has not seen a third round. He has not seen a third round, and he still managed to get 13 takedowns in those 5 fights. When he gets on top, he's got pretty good pressure. He likes to work towards submissions, ton of power in his feet, and he does bring that down to the cage or to the mat. He's coming off that win over Thiago Moises, where he had 5 takedowns and 4 times the amount of significant strikes. It was 100 to 25 or something close to that. This is going to be fight of the night or very close to it. Both these guys have solid wrestling, powerful hands, and tons of forward pressure. Neither one of them, other than Matt backing up in his last fight, neither one of them back up. They both come forward, push the pace, stay aggressive. And it's really hard to say who's better at what, because you could say, Benoit Saint-Denis is the better wrestler. But is he? Matt Frevola is an actual wrestler who wrestled his whole life. Benoit Saint-Denis started wrestling for MMA. Benoit Saint-Denis seems to be the more effective wrestler in the cage, but I don't know if he's actually skill for skill the better wrestler. Benoit Saint-Denis' striking isn't great, but he does have power, and so does Matt. These guys are very, very evenly matched. I do like Matt Frevola here at plus 190. There's just something about the momentum he has going on. He is going to be at Madison Square Garden. I trust his wrestling. Like I said, actual wrestler who's wrestled his entire life. Benoit Saint-Denis, while very effective at wrestling, it's new. He's been wrestling for the last 5-10 years, not the last 30 years. So I'm going to go Matt Frevola here. Obviously, he's got that big power. I do trust the wrestling. He's been chinned before. He may get chinned again. I don't think he'll be out-wrestled. If he does lose, I think he gets put out. But I'm going to go Matt Frevola here in a pretty big underdog spot. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I get it. And I know there's a lot of love for Matt Frevola. And honestly, he deserves it, man, because he got a lot of shit, and I did too, picking him against Drew Dober. I mean, everyone's like, Drew Dober's going to just steamroll this guy. No pun intended for that. But and he came out in front of the home fans, looked great, got the win, and now a lot of people are jumping on that train, the steamroller train. Now, again, no pun intended. It's just all natural. But a lot of people are jumping on this train. They like him as the underdog this week, and I get it. If anyone is going to come in as a big underdog in MSG in front of the home fans and beat a guy as durable and on a hot streak like Benoit Saint-Denis, it probably is a guy like Matt Frevola. And I want to draw attention to as well. You mentioned his wrestling abilities. If you guys go back and watch that fight versus Arman Tsarukyan, and that was after a 2-year layoff and stuff, he comes in and he fights a young, hungry Arman Tsarukyan. He wasn't only just defending takedowns. He got taken down in that fight. he wasn't just defending takedowns where it's, you're defending against the fence, but he's still on your hips, and you're just kind of stuck in that position. This dude is hitting switches. This dude is hitting throws and getting arm in on his back. Not only is he defending the takedowns, but he is reversing the takedowns into headlock positions. I have no doubt in my mind that Benoit Saint-Denis has his work in store for him in the first round of this fight, because Matt Frevola is going to be in his face. He has an ability. He's got power. Benoit Saint-Denis has shown that he almost seems like he's quit. He's even when he gets hurt. That up and weight short notice against Zaleski. This dude is very, very durable. And honestly, it might be a situation where Matt Frevola comes in front of the home fans, has that big adrenaline dump, has some success, is really explosive with defending the takedowns, is trying to really show he can offensive grapple. And Benoit Saint-Denis kind of weathers that storm and then is able to get a little bit more control with his takedowns every single time he gets it. And you saw in that Sarukian fight for Frevola, because of those early explosions later on in the fight, he was able to be controlled a little bit more and a little bit more. I think that this is going to be a great fight. The first round should be explosive. I would love nothing more than fat Matt Frevola to win this fight, either get knockout or submission, something crazy. I'm a big fan of his. I want to pick him in this fight, but I made a promise to myself, to the stream, to the people. After that Thiago Moises fight, I vowed I would never pick against Benoit Saint-Denis. He embarrassed me to the tees. I'm going Benoit Saint-Denis in this matchup. I think it's just going to be a durability issue, but I'll be rooting for Frevola, man. I hope he gets it done.
Durability is the one thing that worries me there as well. I agree. But I do think Frevola will get it done. I think fighting at home is a factor. Benoit just fought. What was it, like a month and a half ago? It's like not that long ago. Now he's flying to the other side of the world, running it back again. I think things are working in Matt's favor here. So we're on opposite sides here. I have not bet on Matt just yet. The line is widening. I know it says opening odds at plus 330, current at plus 190. Obviously, that's correct. But it bottomed out, and now it's going back up. So he was plus 170, 180 or something the other day. So it's now plus 190. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I may eventually throw something on Matt Frevola if it continues to widen. I'm not going to do it 3.5 or anything like that because the durability does worry me a bit on Matt's side. But he just knocked out Drew Dober, so who's to say he can't knock out Benoit Saint-Denis either? So we'll see. If the odds get out of control, I'll probably throw a bet on him. $7,100 in DraftKings. Even if he loses this fight and has an incredible first round, he could put up some real points there. He could put up 50 points in the first round. Not 50, but okay, not 50. But he could put up good points in a loss.
How many do you think?
37.
Oh.
If you want to check it all out, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. You will unlock everything you have ever needed. Mauricio, there is somebody signing up for premium right now. We get like 10, 15 signups per stream. Thank you all very much. Mauricio, I'm not going to say your last name. You just keep sending money. You need to sign up on the website so that it can link your money to your login, which then controls
maybe just sending money, man.
What you can see. He sent it. Maybe he's just sending money, but it's back to back to back, which makes me think he's trying to sign up and he's getting frustrated.
Speaking
it's not
of
working. So we do have a $5 super chat from Andres Laura. Andreas says, everyone smash
Luera.
Everyone smash the like button and get premium. Jacob plus Angelo equals the best duo, the best community ever.
Ooh.
Can I get a shout out to my daughter?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to read this quietly in my head. I think we're good. Nayela, it is her third birthday on Thursday. Shout out Nayeli. I read it quietly in my head first. I've been got a few times. I'm not Michael Bisping.
I swallow.
Level. Yeah, I'm not quite Michael Bisping, but
oh close. My God.
What?
We just got 50 gifted memberships from Quint. No, I'm just kidding. He did up his membership, though, and he said, I love you, Jacob.
He celebrates 14 months of membership, and he loves Jacob.
That's my dude,
wow.
Man.
Okay.
That's my dude, Quinty, baby.
Happy birthday, Quinn.
Happy birthday, Quinty.
Okay, stop. This is when we lose people. Next up, at UFC
when we gain
90
people because we've got Jessica Andrade on the screen.
At UFC 295, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Jessica Andrade taking on Mackenzie Dern. Jessica Andrade, 24-12 overall. Only 2-3 in her last 5, and she's riding a 3-fight skid. She's taking on Mackenzie Dern, 13-3 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She is alternating wins and losses. I mentioned Jessica Andrade on that 3-fight skid, but don't let that fool you. I mean, she is a former world champion, a contender. Jacob is very, very biased. Jessica Andrade is Jacob's Diego Lopes. She's a former world champion.
Well, I picked her against Aaron, but that's because my bias for Aaron runs that fucking deep.
She's a former world champion. She's a contender at multiple weight classes. She has fought some of the best to ever do it, beaten a whole bunch of very good women as well. Technique-wise, not the cleanest at anything, but she's got big, powerful strikes. She is a bully, and she wants to come forward, hold you against the cage, throw you to the ground, throw hard, throw big, and make something happen. She's not the most technical striker, not the most technical wrestler, but she is a bully that can push people around and beat them up. She is coming off her 3rd loss in a row. This time it was to wrestling stud Tatiana Suarez, and it's unfortunate because her last couple of losses have basically been like, oh, Jessica Andrade can't really defend takedowns and then defend a submission. She's taking on Mackenzie Dern. Luckily for Jessica Andrade, unluckily for Jessica Andrade, Mackenzie Dern is a grappling beast. Luckily for Jessica Andrade, her takedowns absolutely suck. Traditionally, she was trouble for anybody that could defend those terrible takedowns. But we have seen improved striking. She just walked down Angela Hill, dropped her, beat her in the striking. She outstruck Angela Hill. And then, yes, her takedowns absolutely suck. 15% accuracy on the take. They're horrible. She is the definition of a BJJ nerd, and it makes no sense to be that amazing at jiu-jitsu and that absolutely trash at takedowns. But we have seen her climb people against the cage. She doesn't even need a full takedown. Yeah, she'll climb you against the cage. She'll wrap you up. She'll make something happen. So to Mackenzie Dern's credit, insanely tough. Like, she is not somebody you're going to beat up and get to quit. She is insanely tough. She's going to keep coming forward. She's going to keep trying to win. If she can't get a takedown, she will look to get it to the ground any way possible. And now we have seen improved striking from her. For all of those reasons, she is going to be my pick. I do have a money line bet on her at minus 177. I'm surprised those odds haven't gone farther out because here's the thing. Jessica Andrade has proven to us that her takedown defense is not very good and her jiu-jitsu defense is even worse. And then, yes, Mackenzie Dern has some of the worst offensive takedowns we literally have ever seen, ever, in a cage. But she doesn't need it. Go watch. Yes, she lost to, was it Yan Janan? Mackenzie Dern? She lost a couple of these fights, but it got dicey. And against the cage, she started climbing. She started trying to work it to the ground. And Jessica Andrade striking, like against Erin Blanchfield, was big and wild and looping. And the Mackenzie Dern striking we just saw in the Angela Hill fight was tight and like clean. And all of a sudden, looking pretty good in the striking department as well. So I think we have Jessica Andrade who is showing up, throwing bombs, just trying to work her way to a win. And then we have Mackenzie Dern, who is actually improving. Not improving in the right. I would rather her wrestling get better than her striking if I had to pick one. But she is improving. She is putting in the time. Mackenzie Dern's the pick. I've got the bet on her. I am surprised these odds are sort of sitting where they have been the last couple of days. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. And this is going to come down to, I understand that Mackenzie Dern everyone's obsessed with Mackenzie Dern. She's a pretty girl, whatever. And I've been on the, somewhat on the Andrade sides a little bit when it comes to that. I'm going to make a statement right now, and you can agree or disagree, but it is fact that Jessica Andrade to me has a prettier face than Mackenzie Dern. Now, I understand Mackenzie has got that rocking body, really, if you watch the embeddeds this week, she's dialed in. I mean, she looks fucking fantastic this week on the embeddeds. I mean, she is ripped, she is cut up, and I love those muscles on those girls. But Andrade to me, really pretty face on Andrade. But as far as fighting abilities, I think she's prettier than the way that she fights, because Andrade at this point we have found out that she. I think the sport just kind of passed her by. I think in her time, in her moment, she was able to get away with just kind of out-muscling and brawling with girls. But now these girls are just too good. They're just too technical. They can sidestep all these brawling stuff. They can level change and shoot takedowns. I mean, when Jessica Andrade was coming up, how many girls were like really wrestlers and stuff? I mean, nobody really was wrestling. I mean, she's gotten to a point where she just is fighting these younger girls that are just better than her. And Mackenzie Dern, it's just better than her. She just is. You mentioned the improvement she's made in the striking. The wrestling, I think, is improving. She's working with Henry Cejudo now. She's been at Fight Ready doing that stuff. I think that you're going to see some really improved takedowns in this matchup. I think she's going to be explosive. She looks dialed in. She was with kind of I also mentioned the embedded. She was kind of with a mystery guy. And I think the camera made a point to be like, hey, guys, because the guy, they were on the beach, but he kept his hood up, a real tall guy, skinny guy, kind of like me, honestly, Mackenzie, if you're interested. But you couldn't really tell who it was, so I'm interested to see who that ends up being. But now I just completely lost my train of thought. But, the one thing I want to mention, too, and I think the most underrated aspect of Mackenzie Dern, which is important in this fight, because Andrade does hit hard, and Mackenzie does get hit. The most underrated part of Mackenzie Dern's game is her toughness. This girl is tough. I don't listen to anything you say. Ever. I just sit
I'm listening
here.
to your fat dick dog eat his second meal during this stream.
Wow.
Her. My bad. Her. I assume all dogs are boys, and it is a bad habit.
Wow. That was yikes. I'm trying not to lose my cool.
I do like Jacob's dog, so my bad.
Trying not to lose my cool here, but her tough. I mean, she is just absolutely tough as shit. So if Andrade does land a shot, Mackenzie has shown she can just sit there in the pocket and eat it. I think she's going to get a takedown, get the submission, and win this fight. She should dominate this fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm surprised the odds are staying. Listen, like the people on the Andrade side, where there has to be some of them, otherwise these odds would be taken off. I guess they're just looking at it saying, well, Mackenzie has trash takedowns, which she does. They're horrible. Mackenzie has trash takedowns.
She took Angela Hill down 3 times. Angela Hill's not an easy person to take down.
Correct, but she was also outstriking Angela, and that may have actually helped the takedowns, which could help here as well. But anyway, if you're on the Andrade side, I have to imagine that's why, right? Like, oh, Mackenzie's takedowns suck. And that has to be it, because we could argue that Mackenzie's the better striker at this point. I guess we'll see.
More technical striker for sure.
Yeah, the Angela Hill fight might have been. And we do need some perspective. The fight with Erin Blanchfield was very short notice, so she might have literally been like, I'm just going to bomb away and see what I can do. Fine. And the Tatiana Suarez one, she had no chance to do anything. She was just out-wrestled instantly. So, I guess a little bit of perspective. But she was knocked out. Wasn't she knocked out by Janjanan?
Well, I know that she also had a very heavy debt to pay against Amanda Lemos on that fucking Hail Mary bullshit standing head and arm triangle. Amanda Lemos was going to fucking smoke her in that fight, in my opinion. I was all over Lemos, so Jessica Andrade paid that debt. Maybe she comes back and beats Mackenzie, but I don't see it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It should be, this fight doesn't necessarily immediately matter for this division, but it is an important fight for Mackenzie Dern's career, at least, because if she blows through Jessica Andrade, and that's 2 fights in a row where she looked really good against a tried and true vet, all of a sudden, what'd you say? Yeah, all of a sudden, Mackenzie Dern might be the person that we thought she was going to be.
The UFC would love to put her in a fucking title fight. I know that.
That's a lot of money on translators. Yes, she grew up in Rhode Island.
She's being more normal now.
She's
in the embedded and stuff,
pushing the crazy thick bullshit accent.
No, you can still see like on some words you can hear like Portuguese, but I think that's just because she speaks Portuguese like all the time. That's all she speaks. So there's going to be a little bit of an accent.
That I can understand.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten better because before it's like, oh, I do it.
She literally was asking, "How do you say?" Like, get the fuck.
How you say?
Anybody who thinks I'm crazy for dogging her about her fake accent, there is a video on YouTube called The Evolution of Mackenzie Dern's Accent, and it's just clip after her 16 years old. Hi, I'm Mackenzie. I'm from Rhode Island. And then now she's like, needs a translator in the cage. It's absolutely absurd. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to get the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the insight, the tools, the optimizer. You're going to get daily fantasy prop game picks. You're going to get FanDuel breakdowns, DraftKings breakdowns, everything you could ever want or need. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. Next up, at UFC 295, we have a shuffled heavyweight bout. Sergey Pavlovich was the backup heavyweight for the original main event of John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. John Jones drops. They don't bring in the backup. They just put together a whole new fight. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, point being, Sergey Pavlovich was technically on this card this whole time. Tom Aspinall was not. They put this together. It is now the co-main event. But this is a title fight. It is technically 5 rounds. We will not need all of them. We got Sergey Pavlovich, 18-1 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding a 6-fight first-round knockout streak. He's taking on Tom Aspinall, 13-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on a 10-fight win streak if you exclude the knee injury loss. This is maybe the toughest pick on the card because two absolute beast guys that have just been dominating their opponents. Sergey Pavlovich, a wild striker, mostly a boxer. You're not going to see a ton of kicks out of him. He has incredible hand speed, maybe the fastest hands in the division. His striking volume is impressive. He trusts his chin, so he'll stand in the pocket and he will throw. Trusting his chin might be a problem, but it hasn't been yet. He's got 0 takedowns in the UFC. He's only been taken down 1 single time so far. But that may get tested in this fight because he's taking on Tom Aspinall, who has very good, well-rounded skills, including wrestling. Tom Aspinall also has solid striking. He's got a BJJ black belt. He has good hand speed himself, probably not quite as fast as Sergey, though. A diverse attack style, and he's going to mix in kicks, which we don't see Sergey doing. Tom's not just a striker, though. He has a 100% takedown accuracy, a 100% takedown defense, and he averages almost 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's coming off the beating of Marcin Tybura. This is a tough pick. This is a very tough pick. Sergey was already training to be on this card, as I mentioned. Tom Aspinall was added to this card. That is somewhat of a factor here. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like this 5-round war, so it may not matter that much. But I do think it matters a little bit. Tom Aspinall squarely the favorite now, minus 123. He's definitely the better fighter. He's the more well-rounded guy. He's got the BJJ black belt. He's got the wrestling. He's got all of those skills and the power. But Sergey Pavlovich has not looked like a human being. He's just so freaking fast with those hands. So good, so powerful. He's just making people look absolutely pathetic. The one loss on his record was to Alistair Overeem, who might literally be the greatest heavyweight striker of all time. I'm going to have to lean Tom Aspinall. I'm going to have to go, all else being even, he's the better fighter. So I'm going to go with the better fighter. But hopefully we get a little bit more than 30 seconds. Hopefully we get to see what happens if you try to wrestle Sergey, because I want to see how good this guy actually is. Tom's going to be the pick, but like the lowest possible confidence you could ever have in a pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I want to say off the rip, I 100% agree with you as far as Tom is the way better overall fighter. I mean, he is the way better overall fighter in this matchup. I'll take it a step further and say that I believe that if these gentlemen were in a boxing ring with boxing gloves, I think Tom beat Sergey 99 out of 100 times. He is the better fighter. He is the better, cleaner boxer. He's going to be the faster fighter. Good footwork in and out, good circling. The issue is, in my mind, is I think that Tom trains boxing like a boxer. And by that, I mean he's using the boxing gloves. He's used to being touched with the boxing type of power with boxing gloves on. He's used to blocking with boxing gloves. And you've mentioned before with kickboxers a lot, you run into issues with that type of style. And when you watch him fight, he's very fluid. He's very fluid in and out of the exchanges, and good combinations, good speed, but he's also very casual. He's very casual with his defense, not only in the pocket, but leaving the pocket after exchange. It's a lot of just kind of leaning back. It's not off the center line. It's not footwork. It's just kind of leaning back. And I have some examples right here on my phone. It's a lot of kind of this type of stuff. You see the chin's up in the air. He's kind of in the pocket, but he's just kind of leaning out of the way. Not only that, but he will stay in the pocket. He will eat shots to give shots. You see that against Tybor there. I mean, it's just a nice, clean right hand from Tybor in the pocket. You see against Volkov. He's pressuring Volkov. He's having success. What does Volkov do? Boom, off the fence. Nice, clean right hand right on Aspinall. He will hang around. He will get hit. And we've seen that if you get hit versus Sergey, you can't survive it. Now everyone's going to be like, it doesn't matter because you're just going to get the takedowns. You're just going to get the takedowns. Overeem took him down. He's just going to get the takedowns. That was kind of a surprise Muay Thai trip type takedown as Sergey was throwing a knee. That wasn't like shooting a single, getting a double. Sergey knows how to wrestle, guys. He knows how to wrestle. He's at a good camp, ATT. They're going to have him ready for the wrestling. He owns wrestling shoes. He knows how to wrestle. If Tom Aspinall thinks on short notice, I'm going to come in, just take this guy down and submit him, he's going to be in a world of fucking hurt because I don't think those takedowns are going to come easy. I don't think those takedowns are going to come easy. And when you fail a takedown, guess what? Now you're just standing right in front of this guy. It's going to be a bad situation. If you're Tom Aspinall, you have to come in, you have to point fight, jab, you're out of there. Jab, you're out of there. And do that for as long as it fucking takes. Because you don't want to get exchanges with this guy. You don't want to be close to this guy. You have to imagine eventually Sergey is going to get frustrated with that style. He's going to start taking chances. He's going to start gassing. I don't think Tom Aspinall is going to do that. I think he's going to come in, assume I can take this guy down. If not, I'm a confident boxer. He's a confident guy. I got power too. And it's going to make him pay for it. I got Sergey. I think he's going to get down the first round.
Yeah, I mean... And I see people in the comment section like screaming and yelling at each other, like trying to make the other person look stupid for being on the other side. How could you cannot have an intelligent argument? Or I guess you could have intelligent arguments on both sides, meaning either one of these guys could win. Like this is the closest fight we've ever seen.
This one and the main events, it's going to be the exact same thing. No matter what side wins, everyone's going to act like a genius and act like it was the obvious play all along, right? If Tom gets a takedown and submits him, they're going to be like, oh, it was free money, free money. If Sergey comes in and just sparks him, that side's going to be like, oh, that was the obvious play. The same thing with Yuri and Alex. We'll talk about that next fight, but everyone's going to act like a genius after the fact. But the honest answer is, as you were alluding to, that's tough, man. You don't know what's going to happen.
No, and that's the beauty. That's why we love this sport. If we knew what was going to happen, we'd be rich. But if we knew what was going to happen, what's the point of watching? This is an awesome fight. I would have preferred, if you gave me the option, I would have preferred John Jones versus Stipe.
Oh, by the way, Stipe was going to smoke John Jones.
Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway,
I had a bet
John Jones. So. Yeah, he's 40. He hasn't fought in 3 years.
Smoke his ass.
Anyway, I would have preferred that fight over this one, but this is a great fight. This is a very, very good fight. Yeah.
I'm not disappointed.
No, and either one of these guys as champion is interesting. I would actually prefer, I think Sergey as champion, nothing you like more than a foreign heavyweight champion that's just knocking people's heads off in under 3 minutes. Like, that is awesome.
And the funny thing too was when Dana was like, because Sergey was there for the replacement. A fighter drops. Typically, the replacement is supposed to take that fight. And then Dana's like, we weren't going to degrade Stipe by making him fight for intern fights. Like, no, you don't want Stipe fighting fucking Sergey Pavlovich is what you don't want to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because he was very respectful to Stipe in every single interview. Because he's even like, he's the heavyweight GOAT. Because, he doesn't want to piss the guy off for no reason. Right. He is the heavyweight GOAT, statistically speaking. Skill-wise, maybe. But statistically,
John Jones,
the heavyweight GOAT. What do you say?
Nothing.
This is a great fight. $8,000 in DraftKings, $8,200 in DraftKings. Just pick your side, man. One of these people is going to score a whole bunch of points, and that's very affordable for somebody that's definitely going to put up over 100 points on both sides of this. So pick your side in DraftKings. We do have some interesting bets going. If you want to check them out, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything. What are you going to do? Sign up for somebody's Patreon. You know what a Patreon is? It's like a Facebook page with a couple of words listed. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Tom Aspinall, first round submission plus 700.
There it is. We have a beautiful interactive website with data, details, metrics, analytics, information, a DraftKings optimizer, all of it built into the website, all of it updated every single day. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member.
You saw 500 people were watching. You're like, I got to capitalize on this.
Yeah, this is a pretty successful stream for us.
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. Like the stream if you think Alex is going to win. And then if you think Yuri's going to win, like the stream. Let's count them up.
Next up at UFC 295, we have the new main event of the evening, the second title fight on the night. We have Jiri Prochazka taking on Alex Pereira. And if you see the names written out, there's all sorts of wild symbols above these last names. But this is for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Jiri Prochazka, 29-3 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5. He's riding a 13-fight win streak. Coming back from an injury, if you remember, he beat Glover Teixeira. Was the light heavyweight champion of the world. And then just a few months later, when he was supposed to rematch, he blew out his shoulder. They said it was the worst.
He was scared.
Shoulder injury in the history of that doctor has ever seen.
Scared of my friend Glover.
He's taking on Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a successful light heavyweight debut. As you know, Alex was the middleweight champion after knocking out Izzy late in the 5th round. Then he lost that belt back to Izzy and said, I am too old to be cutting all of this weight. Moved up to light heavyweight and is still somehow bigger than all of the other light heavyweights. This is a great fight. You could argue if this is I'm surprised this is the main event only because the UFC says if there's 2 title fights, the heavier weight class is the main event. Oh, I guess you're right. That's interim. This is full blown because technically the light heavyweight
it's
belt,
pretty wild, yeah.
The light heavyweight belt went
on the countdown, on the UFC countdown, they do a good job of like walking you through like what's going on. Like this person had the belt, and then Jamall Hill had the belt. And then it's fucking crazy. Yeah, because Glover won the belt from Jan Blachowicz. Then Glover fought Jiri Prochazka, lost the belt in the 5th round after beating the absolute shit out of Jiri Prochazka for 4.5 rounds. Then Jiri gave up the belt, and Glover, who was supposed to fight Jiri, fought Jamall Hill.
Jamall Hill beat Glover. Belt to belt, beat him pretty good. Then Jamall Hill gets an injury. What did he injure?
Achilles.
His Achilles. So Jamall Hill is out, and now this is the light heavyweight.
And he didn't have the same surgery Aaron Rodgers had, apparently, because Aaron Rodgers is about to start playing. It's great. That is fucking insane. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Jesus Christ. Sometimes you think like life is just like a simulation. You see something like that, it's like, how's that even? That's like a 9 month to like a year injury. It's been like 6-7 weeks, and the guy's out there just throwing a football. I'll be back soon.
He actually looks super normal.
It's like, Jesus.
Now he's a specimen. Anyway,
maybe Yuri had that for his shoulder.
Well, speaking of specimens, Jiri Prochazka is a specimen. They said it was the worst. This is an actual quote from the UFC about the doctor. It is the worst shoulder injury they have ever seen. And this dude was doing workouts live on Instagram like 3 weeks later. Like nothing happened. It made no sense. There was a whole bunch of conspiracy theories floating out talking about, it was to avoid USADA, all this other bull. I don't believe any of it. I do think he had a shoulder injury. I don't think it was as bad as they said it was. And, now he's healed up. But if you believe it is the worst shoulder injury that doctor has ever seen, then you believe he's coming back a little too soon. And that could be a factor here. But Jiri Prochazka is an animal. He's going to come forward. He's going to string. He's going to swing wild. This guy gets dropped. He gets hit. He gets beat up. And he always finds a way to win. He continues to come forward. He continues to bomb away. He's got very real power in his hands. Decent grappling. Glover out-wrestled him. But Jiri Prochazka's cardio stayed true. He was there. He was ready to go. Glover made one mistake at the midpoint of the 5th round.
No. Well, it was the midpoint. It was kind of the midpoint, but I forgot how even close that fight was to being over before this. There was like 48 seconds left or something when he got that submission. It was like, oh my God. The worst part is like when he went for that guillotine, I think it was DC was like, no, because DC loves Glover, man. And Glover was on his way to win, not only winning that fight, but getting a finish, a 5th round finish at 40 years old to get the belt or defend the belt. Oh my God. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Glover pulled guard, made a mistake, and Jiri never out of a fight, has the cardio, made it happen, finished, submitted Glover. Glover was really just exhausted. It wasn't a skill gap. Was just exhausted and submitted him and got that win. And it just shows you how durable, how tough, and I think it was Robert Whitaker this week was talking about Jiri just finds a way to win. That guy's ability to win fights.
He's like the Eli Manning.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Eli was not a good quarterback, but that dude just fucking just won all the time, man. It's crazy.
Figured it out. When he's taking on Alex Pereira, who had a similar story, right? Was losing to Izzy, was probably going to lose a 3-2 decision, maybe even a 4-1 decision. Found that 5th round knockout and got it done. But Alex Pereira, as we all know, very accomplished kickboxer, 2 weight class division champion in Glory Kickboxing. Glory Kickboxing is,
Glory
Kickboxing is the highest level.
Let's try and spit this out. I just ordered my Chipotle, so let's try and fucking finish this. So
anyway, Alex Pereira, very, very high level kickboxer, only has 10 fights in MMA. He's already a former middleweight world champion, could potentially lead this fight light heavyweight world champion. 2 division champion in 11 fights would be absolutely insane. But he's exactly that, a nasty kickboxer who is looking to evolve his takedown defense. He took down Israel Adesanya. This whole thing, the very simplest of breakdowns is Jiri Prochazka gets hit, and he gets hit often. Alex Pereira might be the hardest. He was definitely the hardest hitting middleweight, might be the hardest hitting light heavyweight now. That's as simple as the breakdown can get. With that being said, I've gone back and forth. I literally had Jiri picked in my notes, ready to go, and then I flipped it to Alex because I was like, I don't need to overcomplicate this. Jiri is coming back after what's supposed to be a very bad shoulder injury. Jiri, even before the shoulder injury, got hit like crazy. And yes, he can grapple, but he doesn't grapple all the time. It's not like he goes out there looking to wrestle. He goes out there looking to strike, and Alex Pereira is not the guy you're trying to strike with. We have seen Alex knocked out, though. Out cold. We have seen him knocked out. Jiri could do that as well. This could be exactly like the Dominic Reyes fight. Dominic Reyes pieced up Jiri, had him rocked all the things, and then got knocked out. It could be that. I'm going to go Alex, literally just because one guy is insanely hittable, the other guy's an insanely accomplished kickboxer. But this could be very different than that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm a Jiri hater. I mean, I was a Jalton hater leading up to last week for months and months and months, and that turned out to be absolutely true. I'm an Erin Blanchfield hater. I think we've known at this point now that she is absolutely a fraud, and she will be fully exposed in the near future. I think Jiri is not as good as people say. I mean, he is tough. The guy's tough as shit. He's a powerful guy. He can knock out anyone, right? And if Jiri comes in, throws a wild shot, and knocks out Alex, not going to be surprised, right? I've seen Alex get knocked out, as you mentioned. I mean, that definitely is. I'm not obscure to the idea that Jiri comes in and knocks this guy out. I've seen it happen. So yeah, he can knock this guy out. But when it comes to just pure striking, Jiri is just not good. He just has unorthodox striking, and his striking defense is just kind of lean forward and just eat shots with his forehead. Not a good strategy. I mean, I guess it works until it doesn't, right? And we've seen that time and time again with these iron chins, the Drew Dovers, and all these people that come in and you have a great chin until you don't. And if you're going to come up against anybody after a layoff and test that chin again, because we saw Glover, even Glover, old man Glover, and I know Glover's got crazy power, that dude had him out. Not only did he have him out, he had him rocked a couple times. We've seen the leaking of the ship in Jiri. It hasn't been an iron chin, untouchable. I can eat everything like Steve Erceg. Right, Steve Erceg at this point has shown no leaking of the chin. The ship is good to go. We've seen kind of the cracks. We've seen the crevices of Jiri's chin start to fade. And against a guy like Alex Pereira, if he touches it, I think he can put him all the way out. Now, everyone else is going to be like, what about Alex's chin? I just explained. Of course, he can get knocked out as well. I just believe in a technical striking match, Alex will find the shot before Jiri can find the shot. He's a little bit more... kind of takes his time. I think the over is a decent play here. I think they both kind of feel each other out, especially Jiri coming off the layoff. They both are going to respect each other. This could go a lot longer than people think. If it keeps going longer, I think it's going to favor a guy like Jiri. But if they're just going to stand in front of each other, Joe Rogan said it. You cannot stand in front of this man. Either one of these guys can knock each other out. I'm not like super worried about the wrestling from Jiri. I think I just don't see him doing that. You know, he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to come in and wants to win that way. You saw him getting in a brawl with Glover, and he kind of stayed in that brawl, really try to embrace that brawl. I'm going Alex here. I think he can find the shot before Yuri can, but, I mean, this is a close fight, and everyone's going to act like a genius afterwards for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I want Alex to win because I just think that's an awesome plot line. Glover's best friend.
And I can't wait, by the way.
avenges the
I know, like, one of the biggest fights that people love watching is like a Chimaev fight. Like the lead up to a Chimaev fight, and then you see him in the octagon. It kind of just feels different. Do you agree? Like it's like, oh my God, you don't know what's about to happen.
Diving at legs.
Yeah, when you have an Alex Pereira fight, and he's just fucking standing there, stone-faced, in the octagon, staring at the other guy. That's like one of those like goosebump moments, like, oh shit, like here we go. And I can't wait, man. It's gonna be this whole card is gonna be absolutely incredible, I think, especially after last week. This is going to be some fun fights. This is going to be a fun fight. I can't wait to spend my Saturday night on the couch with you.
Under the blanket. You love your blanket.
We might have to invest in a heated one.
Anyway, I agree. I'm looking forward to this fight. And one of the clips I saw on YouTube this week is, I guess Alex Pereira is a giant Pikachu fan. And there's just clips of him. Yeah, there's just clips of him doing that.
When he pulls the best way when he pulls, he's like, Pikachu. Yeah. It's so funny.
It makes no sense because every moment outside of that, he looks exactly like this.
He started crying on the embedded. He just got inducted to the Glory Hall of Fame, and he was I don't know if it was at his house or at Glover's house, but they were watching it together, and he started like tearing up. It was kind of cool to see him get like that emotional about that. Glover got up, gave him a big hug. Huh?
He didn't go to his own induction?
No, it was like, I think they were announcing that he was going to be inducted. You know, the UFC announces.
Yeah.
So I think, and they put him on like the little plaque. So I'm sure they might have some sort of ceremony for him, but I think it was just like an announcement thing.
Yeah, it's better for
what do
the
you mean?
division.
It just happened last week. What do you mean he's training?
I don't know. I'm rooting for Alex, but it's actually better for the division if Jiri wins. Younger.
I think it doesn't matter.
As long as Alex will stick around for a little bit, because he's
either fight
36.
versus Jamall Hill is going to be fantastic when Jamall comes back.
Jamall Hill is the better striker than both of them, but Alex has that big boy power.
Whoa.
Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, guys. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's only $10 a month.
Get me to Brazil, man. I mean,
the amount of stuff,
man.
The amount of stuff you get for that $10 is absolutely.
Guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm just in this shit for the fucking clout. And I want to just bang the hottest girls imaginable, and I need your help. And when it happens, I'll tell you all. I'll sit here on the stream, tell you all about it. You guys can live vicariously through me, become premium. Follow me on my socials.
Wear a GoPro. Follow our socials. The Discord is 100% free. We plug a lot of premium. Obviously, that's what keeps the lights on here. But the Discord is 100% free. The link to that Discord is in the description, or if you go to our website, there's a big button that says join the Discord. It is free. Hop in. Obviously, there are channels that are not free, but the general chat and a bunch of other chats are free. Hop in there. Meet the crew. Become a premium member. You're going to get the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. You're going to get the line movement tracker that's going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability. You're going to get more than just me and Jakey Boy. We've added the MMA Minute, who's giving you his picks, bets, information, and leans. You're going to get Running Mouth MMA, who's going to give you their picks, bets, information, and leans. Artem, who's giving you picks, bets, information, leads, not just for UFC, but every promotion. And the Pick Doctor, who is an AI, or a person that has developed an AI to pick fights and went 8-1 last week. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month.
Any last words? Yeah, Lock of the Week video is already live. So, and by the way, all of that, the video, everything I do for Lock of the Week is 100% free. Has nothing to do with premium. But if you support the work, if you like the videos, because I too put a lot of work, and I got something special for next week. But if you just want to support just me individually and all the work I do for Lock of the Week, just become a premium member, and you can get stuff back in return. So I appreciate all the support, though. All the likes. You guys show that video so much love, and I really do appreciate that. All the love you guys show on the channel in general. I mean, we grow at a crazy rate. All the existing premium members, everyone that, even if you're not a premium member, you just show up, you're in the live chat, you're liking the stream, you're just hanging out, you are that view for us, that subscriber. We appreciate you guys as well, man. It's quite the journey, and we're just getting started, man.
No, 100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you later this week and then Saturday for the vlog.